everybody, what's going on? It's TCH Live Thursday. We've got a special lineup here for you. Really looking forward to it. I'm your host, Aaron McAvoy. Joining me tonight, we've got Ashley King for the first
Hi,
time
guys.
here in the booth.
How you
So we'll be
doing?
hanging out back here, calling the shots. Do want to thank you guys for tuning in. Looking forward to this. We've got a lot of familiar faces, perhaps a couple of new faces as well. But we will be playing 510. And maybe we'll see some of those $25 straddles coming out as well. I'm not sure if that's going to be mandatory or not, but we are starting shorthanded. We'll see who filters in, and we'll get this table full up here before you know it. So let's get started here in just a moment. Do want to take this time, as we have just a little bit of a lag before we get started, to talk about the tournament going on up in Dallas. Once again, that is the $800 buy-in, $500K guaranteed mystery bounty tournament, running with day one flights all throughout this week, culminating in day two and the final table on Sunday. So if you're in and around the Dallas area, pop on in, play some mystery bounty action, get in on that massive guarantee that is definitely going to get smashed. It's already like over 200K in the prize pool, and with 500K guarantee, and we're only on Wednesday. I suspect that's going to be lasting.
Mystery Bounty's up to a $20,000 pool.
Like for the maximum on the mystery bounty pool, yeah.
There's some WBT packages in there as well, so should be fun.
Heck yeah. All right, so just these four players going to go for a $25 PLO bomb pot here to get things started.
Thank you, everyone.
Carly in the box here, going to spread out a couple of ace-high boards.
I would take that hand in any PLO game.
It's a nice looking hand. Doesn't really connect with either of these boards too well. But that's pretty standard in bomb pots, right? You look down at, I had this earlier, just in the 1-3 game I was playing. Had like ace, king, king, queen, double suited, and then it was just like 9 high and 7 high boards, and none of my suits. So I was like, cool. Yeah,
that's a great fold.
Let's see, so we got Hart over here in the 9 seat. I'm going to go ahead and bet with his top 2 on bottom, now top 2 on the top board as well.
Looks like it's eventually going to be a chop unless he connects another ace or 8. He's got top 2 on both boards, and then we've got Rick with the set.
Well, Hart has actually turned a flush as well, so he was actually looking at scooping that. Does take a swing at this for 150 or thereabouts. Maybe it was a pot-size wager, and he's just going to ship that.
Take it down.
All right, going to take a look here in the chat, see who all is tuned in. We've got 40 ounces of freedom. We got Raina, Frank. What's going on, guys? Captain Underpairs, Poker Monkey.
Welcome, Frank.
A lot of the usual suspects. Thank you guys for tuning in. Good to see you guys. Poker Monkey asking, where has Anderson been? I think he's just been playing down in San Antonio, doing what he do.
Everyone agrees to doing the 25.
Poker Monkey putting a little shout out there for the Chat Pro meetup game. This Sunday at 1 p.m. there will be rum cake. Sounds like awesome. Kicker Problems, what's going on, man? Welcome to the show. All right, let's get some 2-card action underway. We've got Rick over here.
It looks like they've all agreed to do the 25. Not mandatory, but they are putting it on. Definitely this hand.
7 raised to 75.
We got Optimize. We got Doug over here sporting the New York Jets paraphernalia. That man is having a good season. I don't know. Are you a football watcher, fan at all?
Absolutely. I actually, so for me growing up, it was 49ers.
Okay.
From California. So not to say they're the best, but not the worst.
Well, certainly this year they are not the worst.
Not the worst.
That honor probably goes to the Bears or maybe the Panthers. However, the Panthers just beat the Bucks, who are playing tonight against the Ravens. So I don't know. I'm hoping that that's a good game. I have quite a few players in the fantasy streets from my fantasy football team. So I will be poking around at my phone throughout the show to see how they're doing. But yeah, looking for a high-scoring game so that a lot of fantasy points are scored as well. That's for sure.
4 raised to 35.
Optimize here on the button. Going to open it up. Ace 9.
9 call.
And yeah, I suspect we're going to see a lot of this just sort of open and take it down. But Hart is going to defend actually with the 5-4 off. Flops himself bottom pair, top pair for
Nine
Optimize.
check. Four bet 50. Nine call.
B-bet for 2/3 here from Optimize, and you don't defend 5-4 to fold when you connect with bottom pair. Heart does make the call, and here we get a board pairing 7 on the turn.
9 check, 4 check.
Pretty safe looking card if you're Heart a lot of the time. Interesting. Check, check. Optimize gonna check that back.
That
Second card pairing isn't great for top pair holdings most of the time, so I do understand that. But yeah, he's gonna river 3 pair, and that's good enough for a bet.
But at this point, Hart definitely, I'd be surprised to see his call with that.
9 to base.
With
Yeah,
the ace
the-
connected on the river.
Yeah, ace going to be a pretty dangerous card for him, but he is going to pay it off, giving Optimize credit for some Broadway cards that were just going to bet flop and then shut it down, and then saw the ace. Was like, oh, this is my chance to take it down. So I understand heroing off there. It is kind of tough for your opponent to have much, and you don't have a club, so there's also some club combinations that may have bet flop and shut it down on the turn as well. So
Let me ask you this: is there
don't
any
mind
name
it.
I could
Doesn't
put
get the job done this
alongside
time
Trump
though.
that might actually say Trump?
So Ashley, you've just started working here at TCH Austin, what, a couple months ago,
A
right?
couple months ago, that's correct.
And but you've been in the poker streets for a while. You're a player as well, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So I've been playing and working for about 25 years. Hailing from California, way of Vegas. Just moved here within the last year, so starting to love Texas poker more and more.
Heck yeah,
Yeah.
dude. What is there not to love about Texas poker? That is.
I can say it's hard for me to sit down in any game that's not in Texas. If I'm in Vegas or LA, it feels like a grind
Yeah.
instead of fun and enjoyment with the grind.
Absolutely. Yeah, I haven't played very much outside of Texas, which is
You have to adjust your style immediately the moment you step into any other house that's not a Texas poker.
Halloween stream.
yeah, I can imagine so, and I've definitely heard that from other people as well. All right, we've got 3 players taking a flop here, and Hart and Rick both going to flop top pair. Optimize here out in left field, searching for something. He didn't find it.
Should get some action though, heads up.
That's what I say.
Coming in to the turn. Four-handed flopping both top pair. That's very rare. Four-handed.
Yeah, Rick here can actually be the aggressor. Hart going to go for the check call.
Personally, though, he's trying to play like he isn't up to the job. 9 check. That he works.
Hart over there getting himself a massage from
2 bet.
Callie, licensed massage therapist from Texas Royal Touch.
10 hours a week.
9.
Yeah, check call once again, bet of 115 by Rick on the turn. I suspect if Hart checks it a 3rd time, Rick will just check it back. He does, and we'll find out the bad news that, yeah, 7 kicker, no good.
Yeah. I want to like run errands and get drunk and
So Hart here on a little mini heater to get things started. He will drag another
I
pawn.
think I'm gonna do that more in December, like the last couple of weeks.
So what's your preferred game?
PLO.
PLO.
Anything but 2 card.
Instead of Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sort of a raised on 2 card player myself. I'm trying to branch out a little bit, playing some Duke 7, playing a little bit of PLO. I'm only just dipping my toe in at this point. Yeah, there's a lot more going on. You have a lot more, I guess, decisions to make, you know, because the equities are just going to run so much closer together.
525.
And Texas Hold'em, it's just, you know, I don't know, much more standard to be like, well, I'm either going to like improve to the Omega nuts or like my hand is just like nothing.
Correct.
Whereas in PLO, you've just got things that are running super close together. Sets on like straighty, flushy looking boards and everything still have a ton of equity. And I don't know, there's just a lot more nuance to it. But
Those double backdoor draws are where you make your money
That's
in
right.
PLO.
a couple of big hands running into each other here. Doug with 2 black queens. Going to put in a 3rd bet here. 220. Hart will make the call. He'll play this in position, but Doug first act with the betting lead. All small on the flop. Doug here first to act. I suspect he'll continue. And if I know anything about Doug, he's not shy about putting in big chunky bets on boards like this.
Having that 250.
Hart with a backdoor flush draw might come along with his 2 overs. Looks like he
Nine
is.
called.
Yeah, a little over half pot here from Doug. I almost expected a little bit larger size, but still right in his wheelhouse. And bingo.
Oh, there we go.
Right on the turn here for Hart. Picks off the 3 outer. Doug here with a little eyebrow raise and probably just a check.
No, we're not on the river yet.
All of your opponents, like ace-high heart draws and such, have just
On my
picked
screen,
up
just showing what's your number.
top pair.
Yeah, put this right.
Ooh, big bet here, though, from
7
Doug.
and 6.
Wait, am I tripping? Why is this now showing the 7 of hearts on there?
He had an action to bet. 9
Okay,
call.
definitely ace of spades out there on the turn.
Yeah.
Not the 7 of hearts. Doug here is going to fire 660, a 2/3 size here that I'm a little bit curious about. Not too many worse hands are going to call for that size at this point, and certainly going to be tough to get a better hand to fold.
I can't see him stabbing here on the river with the 4-card straight connecting on the river. Everything typically gets there, and he, with his raise pre-flop, he's not putting in that
9
as a
check.
bluff. That's right.
8 wing.
Yeah, Doug does shut it down, goes for the check. Hart checks behind and takes his showdown with the top pair second kicker, and Doug will sort of frustratingly flick his cards into the mud. Yeah, pretty unfortunate run out for him, but I do think that the ambitious bet on the turn was maybe a spot that he could have gone a little bit different about. It's a little bit curious though too, like is Hart going to bet that much himself? Is he just going to end up losing roughly the same amount
And I don't see
and
Hart
then-
going check. So
on the turn there?
on the turn and the river, but I'm surprised that Hart doesn't actually put in something for value. With such a big bet by Doug on the turn, you know, Doug could have definitely paid him off a little bet on the river. Even though he was frustrated, he definitely, I think, would have called Hart's
I know he was
bet.
telling me
You know, put in a little 450 right there on the river. I don't see Doug being able to fold, not call them.
Yeah, certainly possible, but as you mentioned, it was a 4-liner to a straight, so a little bit of a tricky spot to go for the small bet, reopening the pot. Doug probably isn't going to have many straights there, if any, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like Hart there, just checking the end as quickly as he did, was probably going to check down every river no matter how we played the turn, but
Unless he's putting Doug as well on an ace with a weaker kicker, you know. That definitely could have gotten extracted value, unless he's worried about him actually completing with his straight or 2 pair.
yeah. Or even ace-king could certainly play it that way as well, right? Like
Yep.
bet flop, bet turn, then check river, and like if you sort of value own yourself, betting the river, that could be bad news bears as well. You got 3 players with small cards, middling small cards, taken off a flop, and everybody gets a little piece here. Gut shot for Hart, which isn't very inspiring. Up and down for Rick, and a flush draw for Doug.
I'm down. 9 call.
Rick here going to take a stab with his straight draw. And yeah, right there on the turn. Easy game.
And he blocks the backdoor hard draw comes in, but he's got the 7 of hearts, so he's unlikely that anybody else coming along is going to have backdoor hearts.
Doug here first to act. He is going to check. Hart only picking up a pair of 6s on the turn, not what he was looking for. Will check. And with 7 1/4 in the middle, Rick will spread out a bet of 420.
And then it folds.
The only appropriate wager to make in this
9
situation.
folds.
And that will just get his 2 opponents to fold, and
He was gonna bet
he'll
425.
drag that nice pot right there.
He didn't realize.
But then he realized who was dealing. He was like, oh, I have to. bet
Poker
this
Monkey
dealer.
asking, is the dealer the young lady that usually wears the sunglasses? Indeed, that is Carly. Not sporting the sunglasses tonight.
They actually have rotating sunglasses. Her and her husband like to wear. They've got hearts. I've seen flowers, stars. They have a wide array of sunglasses they like to bring in, and They all join in and play a lot of our daily tournaments here at the TCH Austin.
Heck yeah.
It's a lot of fun. If you like to have some action and watch dealers make some bad plays, it's great. Great time. They all get a little crazy, you know. They usually adding most of the money to the prize pool, so you get definitely some value, almost like a break back on your tips to those dealers.
There you go. Do you play any of the nightly tournaments here?
I like playing the PLO.
No.
Yeah, it's we've got that going on here. $2,000 guarantee on that PLO tournament. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to open yourself up to the game if you've never played before. It allows you to, you know, just get in, jump into a game that's got 4 cards.
Heck yeah. Yeah, pretty good price point there, $60 and 2K guarantee. Let's see here. So both Doug and Hart make it to the turn here. Doug betting the flop with his bottom pair. Hart with top pair, of course, going nowhere. Now that Doug has checked the 8 of clubs on the turn, Doug will realize that his 4 is probably not good. So let it go.
Who else was on the list?
It's kind of weird. So I'm looking at our chat stream over here, and like everybody's chats are getting doubled up,
You know, Rob.
which is kind of
Remember that
interesting.
guy who 5-bet you to 2200?
I presume that that is not something
You
that
know, the guy
everyone's
that
seeing,
got
and
the
it's
guy
just
that got
something that we
sacked
are
off the
getting.
base king with king.
Something to take a look at. I'm going to pull it up here on YouTube just
You don't know who
for
these
but
people are, but I
Welcome,
know
Ted.
exactly
Thanks for
who they
joining
are.
us
Like,
here
Double all
on
them up.
TCH Live,
I
Austin.
had to go
I
back
played
because
with him, I
like
don't even know.
after that hand,
But he didn't go by Rahul on the stream.
We're still 4-handed, guys. Hoping a few more players show up.
it's not reading.
I'll straddle this.
yeah, we had a full list,
Yeah, I had to go
and
back
then a
live
number of
25 to
players
read
either
what Rahul
have dropped
got
out or
Zach
are taking
off
their
of, 'cause he
time
was like,
coming
"This
over
should be a
here.
snap call," and then he was so
But
mad
in any
about it,
case,
so I-
we do have open seats, so if anybody is in or around the Austin area, let's come on down, play some 5-10, 5-10, 25. We got seats. All right, Optimize and Rick here are going to go heads up to a flop. Couple of clubs out there, 7 high. So Rick with 2 overs and clubs, going to feel pretty good about this one. And Optimize 3-2 is straight. We'll put a little tickle out there for 20. And Rick will make the call. Doug pulling out a handful of pink chips to add on.
2-bet 60.
Do you actually both connect at the turn here?
It looks like it.
Yeah, up and down for
Doug, you
both
had
players.
another
Rick
2K?
here leading for 60 now on the turn. Interesting spot. Optimize, of course, not going anywhere, and I don't think he benefits a lot from a raise. You don't usually see your opponent's donk lead and then just fold. I mean, the donk lead is always so hard to decipher, but he is just going to go for the raise here. Play this one aggressively. I mean, the tricky thing is, like, what if your opponent re-raises you? Now you're really kind of in a spot, but Rick is just going to make the call. A harmless deuce of hearts on the end. Now the nice thing about how Optimize has played this is that he has the betting lead. So when it checks to him on the end, if he's going to bluff at this, he does have the image, sort of the story already lined up for himself.
Like bigger Kevin.
He doesn't have clubs, which is a great spot for him to go for a bluff.
He's been signed up a
Just
lot.
about 550 in the middle. Fire like 375 plus here and just take this down against a lot of hands.
Just take this.
There's nothing else connected. Every draw was missed. And he does. It's
Very
like
liberal. if you
420.
Once again, the only appropriate size
Oh
weight.
man, look.
Rick will fold the best hand, 10 high,
My shit, I mean,
and Optimize, well, it looks like to turn over his 8 high and be like, yeah, gotcha.
one with the 10 high, bro.
The power of
You'd have called that. That would've been a
the
Robbie
2
move.
draws, you know, that both miss. And like you're just
said-
firing 8
Hold
high
on,
against
hold
10
on.
high. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome in the chat. We've got Jamin.
guy's
Just
leg
joined us.
vibrating.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome.
He's a good friend of mine, hailing from
When did it?
Las Vegas now.
When did they see
His daughter just had a birthday, so I want to wish her a happy birthday.
Like, well, yeah, but not live.
Indeed.
The commentators can see it live. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Trying to get Jamin out
No
here.
one
Hopefully he
see
can
the
join us
live
here someday at TCH Lab Austin, and
Not even the people
maybe we'll
that
get
are
a little
5.99 people
meetup
that
game
are
going
running
for
for 10.
Jamin.
That would be fun.
Only see
Working
Facebook
on that with him. So putting that pressure on here to you, Jamin,
Ninefold.
live in the chat.
I guess they don't. I guess they don't need it, do they? Because they just.
All right, Rick here in the small blind folds to him. He's got a nice premium hand.
Raise
Take this
to
up
80.
to 80 on the $20 straddle, I suppose. No, 25.
7 raise to 300.
But Optimize, not a believer in the 9 Triz.
Well,
Get
I
out of
mean,
the way.
we're on like a
I
beta
wouldn't be
test
surprised if we
for,
see
like,
a raise from Doug here. And we,
so
yep,
I guess
300
they
coming
can
out.
just change stuff whenever they want, really. Where like other live streams would probably have to completely reinstall their
Now,
software.
four-handed, if I was in Rick's position, this is actually when I would probably click it back up. I would say at least
As soon as the, like,
850,
Robbie thing happens,
but
or if
he's
it's
going to lay
like-
it down. I'm surprised by
We
that.
can just.
Yeah,
we just
Rick
change
is
it
a
right
little bit
now.
more of a snug player. Doug also a pretty snug player. So,
I'm big.
you know, seeing a 3-bet like that, gonna have to play the rest of the hand out of position. You know, it's understandable from the
Unsuited connector.
from what we've seen of these two players before.
Unsuited connector. Oh no.
Unsuited and they weren't connected either.
Oh my god. Well done. He read in a book.
Unpaired.
He's supposed to.
Captain Underpairs, I totally agree with that. He said Aaron should take a seat and play. That was already discussed.
Yeah,
That
one or
he might be jumping in there.
yeah, or we send you in there and you know, show us how this 2-card game is played.
My player note.
Play with a 4-card mentality, you know?
There you go.
Probably not optimal, though.
You know, if it works, it works.
I play poker like a believer.
Nine call.
Like a believer.
All right, Hart here in the straddle will defend his little babies as Doug raises it up with Queen 8 in the big blind. Jack high board here, 1 heart. So Doug with a gutty and backdoor opportunities. Take a little stab at this, and Hart will not continue. So do you ever go out to WSOP in Vegas, play any of the PLO events, anything like that? Are you a tournament player?
So actually, I was I worked with WSOP for a while. I was a tournament director there. I just actually finished up at the Win this summer.
Okay.
So switched, kind of jumped ships, left Caesar Entertainment after working for them for quite a while, and have now joined with Win. So it's a great team over there. They run some great tournaments, but Texas is home, so I like to bring everything and come back here, and I'd like to see TCH improve on expanding tournament series here, especially bringing it to Austin and wanting to build a future here with TCH Austin. And looking forward to that, bringing the experience that I have with all of my tournament directing from California to Vegas.
Cool. Yeah, I've played some tournaments at Win. Love that that spot, like over there in what I guess it's Encore, right, where they run the tournament, and it's just such a great spot. The staff are super professional. I've really enjoyed the tournaments. I've run really poorly in them. I feel like every time I go over to the Win, I'm like, oh yeah, I love this place, but I never seem to make it very far.
We're good.
It just seems like kind of the way I've run, but it's a great room, that's for sure.
550.
All right, we got the double straddle on here from Doug on the button. Taking things up to 50 now.
Okay. I will be.
Nine
He comes.
gold.
J-Mint seat open. I'd put in half the cost for your flight to get here.
Oh, that's
So
too funny.
Be good to see you. Have you here, man.
Two raise to
Something tells me.
100. Four
Something tells
fold.
me.
Looks like we do have been clipped to 100
7
from
call
Rick,
comes up.
and Doug calls.
King right in the window there for Doug. There is an ace behind it. But Rick here with a pretty much zero equity type holding.
It's probably just me.
See if he takes one stab at this. He does.
Bet 115.
And Doug just snap folds the King 4.
That good?
And so another sort of abnormally played hand here, all things considered.
Especially from Doug. I'm surprised to see him fold that.
Well, again, I think it's the dynamic of both of these players being a little bit more snug than your average player. So Doug is giving Rick credit for actually having an ace in this spot, and sort of going back to the other one, it's like, Rick is giving Doug credit for having something that,
I'm
that
6.5.
he doesn't want to play against out of position, I guess. I don't know.
She was this big.
Live
She's
25.
gonna pop.
Yeah, I definitely think that
Travel for 25.
when you have players that have some like experience with one another, that kind of know that the ranges are going to be a little bit tighter. When they do run into each other, it's two players that are kind of like squinting at each other, like, not too sure. You know, you're going to have something over there most of the time.
Which one of us is the snuggest this time?
Exactly.
I would like to see Optimize take advantage of that. He's very good at that. He adjusts his play. He definitely snugs up when needed, but he definitely opens his range up when he sees that going on between these two players, and especially after those last two hands.
You're gonna feel right now. You're
Easily just giving him up. So
Yeah, I think Optimize is definitely going to be the most aggressive player in this arrangement. Hart also not afraid to play a lot of hands, as we've seen already, calling out of the blinds and such with disconnected cards, high card, low card type situation. So I think we're going to see plenty of hands played out. But yeah, I tend to agree. I think Optimize is in the sort of the driver's seat if he wants to push the action. Doug here, though, getting plenty of playable hands, especially in the four-handed arrangement. He will open the king-8 suited, and Hart will defend 6-5 off. Once again, same board, king in the window, ace behind it, and a little 3 on the end.
7 bet 75. 9 full.
Doug will c-bet, take
Thank
it down.
This is definitely be my 5 feet tip in.
One thing that I definitely love about the Texas poker scene as well is the massage rates. $1.50 a minute instead of the like $2 out in Vegas or anywhere else that I've been.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And Texas Royal Touch is amazing. They've got a great staff. I definitely have my favorites, who I look forward to seeing, but overall they have the best massage staff here. And they're actually, they're not just in Austin. They do cover rooms outside of Austin, so it's great to see that this is expanding, and looking forward to continuing our relationship with them here at Texas Card House.
Heck yeah. No, I always look forward to coming on in, playing some cards, getting a tune-up. Muscles are always tight. So,
I think that, as a poker player, I think that's what happens. We focus so much on not giving off physical tells and on our face with our body language that we actually tense up so much that we don't realize what we're doing to our bodies. And obviously, sitting so long in chairs, but I think everything that we try to not expose on our face and with our hands and with our shoulders is that's why we all can use a massage.
indeed. We got Mr. Will Lottie joining us here in the chat, who is headed out to win to play his 10K WPT tournament.
Congratulations on that, William.
Heck yeah, man. Best of luck out there. That is going to be a who's who of the poker scene, so I'm sure you'll be playing with some absolute crushers, and hopefully you can run good and play good and make a deep run.
Did you guys think?
Definitely looking forward to going back out for that, so that'll be in December. Hopefully, William, you bring home some Christmas money.
Hell yeah.
Oh, it looks like we've got some action here between Rick and Optimize.
Yeah, both players connecting with the board here. Optimized, though, with no backdoor opportunities, is going to feel like he's in a pretty rough spot to continue. Yeah, I think the fold there is appropriate. A lot of times you're not just going around folding pairs on the flop against a single bet and a single raise pot, but this is a scenario where your opponent's range is just going to be all over this, and even if they just have some sort of like ace-10 or whatever that you are slightly ahead of, you'll just never really know it by the end of the hand. So there's a diamond out there, though. I think you can peel one off for that price.
Live 25.
Have you been up to the TCH Dallas location?
I have not yet. I'm actually looking forward to that. That's going to be, I'd like to take at least a week to spend up there, because those PLO games I've heard are amazing. The action up there,
I think probably in every game up there, the action is amazing. I've only played like 1-3-2-5 up there. I guess some 1-2 whatever while I was waiting for something else to open up, and then of course going up there for tournaments. But I will say the games that I have played in were fantastic. Dallas is a very exciting place, and it's always packed. Like,
Ooh, I
trying to just get a seat, you might be waiting, you know, like
8.
20, 30, 40 minutes.
yeah.
Depending on the game you're trying to
Every time I look at Poker Atlas, which is a great app that we use out here in Texas, you can put yourself on the list, and it's great. You can actually kind of give yourself an estimate of wait time, and you can definitely see that they use all tables at TCH Dallas. So looking forward to taking a trip up there. I have a few friends who work there, dealers that did come from Vegas and moved out there. So shout out to them. We got Derek and Eric up there dealing at TCH Dallas. Great dealers from the win, and brought a couple of them out here to Texas, and I just see a lot of improvement since I've moved here. With all of the dealers, we've got, I think, a really good mix of people who come from Texas poker background or home games, and then people from LA and Vegas who are coming out here, and just overall, like, I'm seeing Texas becoming the center of the poker world. Being able to live here in Texas and play tournament series, you know, full time as a poker player is very rare to be able to live in one state and have access to all of that year round, actually.
Heck yeah.
She's a girl.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, that's for sure.
She's not allowed to.
God, bro.
She can have different pronouns when
All right,
she's
taking a look
in
there
the
at the
home.
stacks and the earnings. Hart here up a little over 1K. Doug stuck the most at this point.
Gendering unborn babies. man. I
But
didn't
as
think
we
we
are
cared
on
about that.
just hand number 18 and still playing four-handed, it's relatively
Basically like
modest action here so far.
Live
Texas,
25.
and they're like trying to instill their
Welcome
California
into the
ways
chat,
into
Mr. Ragnar.
Texas. I'll text that to you. They're like 3 short videos and they're fucking
I already know which one
Rick
you're
here
talking
on
about.
33.
It's not an awakened
Come
kid.
in for
It sounds like something.
raise on the button.
2 raised to 65, 4 fold, 7 fold.
Was it a redhead guy?
There's like a couple.
I like that raise to go ahead and have position and set line with his
Yeah, but I don't
threes.
want to like assume one that's
Heads up.
Also just nice when you have the betting leads in position to the threes, and a lot of those small pairs aren't necessarily functioning as like just strong made hands themselves, but when you do miss and don't hit a set, or some sort of like flopped straight draw, something like that, you can
like, oh, like,
usually see that
Nine
take
call.
things down. But Hart
we're gonna go around.
gonna
and
stick
hang out.
around.
For me.
Hart has heart, and you know, why not when you're just gonna drill top pair on the
Hey, hey.
No, I
See, it
saw
felt like
this.
something was coming. Got that
The guy
backdoor
like
space, but he
supposed to be
completed that
vegan,
turn.
but
But
he's
he
not
hit the top pair now,
That was so funny.
and checks it.
There's one about
Rick,
the
of course, is not going to put him on the queen on that turn,
Someone sent
calling that
2
flop.
bet 135.
Yeah, one would expect that if there were any queens whatsoever, they would have 2 spades
9
in
call.
the holdings.
And it's like
But
they
Hart
go to
here
like
with just
church
the one
and then like
does
the
find
church
his
people
way.
are trying to like
And yeah, now another spade on the end. I suspect Hart will check once again, and Rick will probably shut this down. But he does actually have a pretty good combo to go for another big bluff
They're
bet
like,
there on the end.
"Jesus
But
saves
a
these
quick check.
people," And they're like, Beto saves these people all
Yeah.
the time. Like, they like start comparing Beto to
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Jesus, thank you.
So Hart here, the run of Hart continues.
It's pretty ridiculous.
He will now move up to 1.35K in the black.
It's good at fundraising. I'll say that. That's one skill. It's good fundraising.
So you said you moved to Texas in the last year, right?
Yeah, just over a year ago.
Okay. What do you think of the Austin area? Have you spent much time exploring the rest of the state yet?
No, just actually stuck mostly here to the Austin area. I do travel a lot, back and forth to Vegas or California. So, spent most of my time, you know, either in a poker room or traveling back. I just actually came back from a long vacation, which was great. Spent the summer over in Europe, so Justin back to, you know, Texas life.
Heck yeah.
Back to, you know, heavy foods like great
Even though I
barbecue here.
Uh-huh.
We have one of my favorites is actually Interstellar, which is pretty close to Texas Art House. So it's It's great.
No, I love that place, and you got to choose the right time to go. Otherwise, you'd be standing in that line out front.
And then just like
Or they
Well.
close, or have run out of
Oh, yeah,
meat.
you're
I mean,
meant to.
Yep.
they usually
It's like,
by 2 or
what?
3 o'clock they're pretty much out of a lot. That just shows how good that food is.
Yeah, I've only been there a couple of times, but
Seven.
man, pork belly so freaking good. I like pork belly is like one of my favorite foods like
Yeah.
ever. They do a fantastic job there.
I'm a sucker for Korean barbecue pork belly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's my first stop whenever I head back home to Vegas. It's straight to like Koback Korean barbecue, anything. I'm down.
9 check.
But I like it. There in so they actually have tri-tip. So from where I'm from in California, we have Santa Maria style barbecue where we do tri-tip. So it's different to have it smoked. So it's a different flavor, but I like it. Their brisket's amazing there. They also do some great in-house homemade sausages and their sides. I mean, if they're out of meat, you can eat up the sides. They're amazing.
Just say that?
Yeah, I got like a side of the kale salad, and it was like massive. I mean, it was just huge, like one of those little boats or whatever that your food comes in, like completely full. And I was like, I thought this was like a side. Usually they give you like this little ramekin or
You
something.
eat cow?
Live.
Hell yeah, I eat kale.
Okay, all right.
I mean, when you're about to put down like a pound of brisket and pork belly, you better mix something in there that's
Balance of
not
life.
just
Okay.
like grease and protein. You know?
Okay.
9
Yeah, it's
full.
8 for 300.
Yeah, I may not look like a kale guy, but I'll eat
Yeah,
some
this is
kale. I'll
gonna be a
put a little bit of that down.
Yes, sir. It's a
I made the mistake of getting a side of beef as well. Like just I had way too much food. I just looked at it on the tray. It was like, what did I get myself in? That place is awesome.
I don't know if I can go by myself. That definitely requires like a 2 or 3 man team to attack any, no matter what size order you do. There's always leftovers and
2 check.
yeah, always too much.
7 check.
Let's see here. Nobody really connecting with this in a meaningful way. Rick does have the best hand with a pair of 9. As Carly, there,
I believe you. Well, it's okay because it's the card that's actually coming out.
put down another flop or something. I don't know
But
if
you
that
were way
could
off.
happen. But King of Hearts here on the turn as we do check through the flop.
It's the problem.
2 bet
They have to
20.
self-identify.
Rick will go ahead and bet the 9 here. A little bit of equity denial. I like it.
For a king or she for a
Puts
queen.
20 out there and tickles the pot to death, and he'll take it down.
Thank you.
It's the first I've ever heard. Tickle the pot.
Yeah, you know, you put a little tickle bet out there.
Hey. Yeah, see, somebody else doesn't believe it. See, we got Captain and Poker Monkey questioning your kale choice.
Hey, you know what? Oh, let's see. I got to see what Poker Monkey had to say here. There's only one place for kale, the nearest garbage can. Well, so here's the deal. Kale is not like my favorite thing, but I do enjoy adding some vegetables to my diet, especially when I'm eating a big heavy meal of barbecue. And that's what they had there, was like kale salad. That was the option. And so that's what I went for. I wouldn't say, though, that kale is like my go-to when it comes to a salad. I'm much more of a spinach and like a mixed sort of baby greens kind of a salad. But yeah, I don't hate on the kale. Certainly not like Captain Underpairs and Poker Monkey here.
7 bet 75.
I mean, you put enough dressing or like some sort of flavor in there, and like it's just vegetables at that point, you know.
It's okay. Your new name will be Mr. Crunchy Granola.
Mr. Crunchy Granola.
Colorado, right? Is that if I'm not mistaken?
Yes,
That's-
raised by a couple
all
of hippie
right.
parents, so you know
It
what?
makes sense now.
does.
It's all coming.
9 full.
No, I don't care. You guys can hate on me all you want. It's more delicious kale salad for me.
I definitely think a 5th player will definitely open up this table a lot. Give us some more action, I think. Definitely like to see some more multi-way action to these flops.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that shorthanded is entertaining to watch with the right group of folks, and the dynamic of pretty much everybody playing from the cutoff for hijack, right? Like at a minimum, really widens the ranges and can lead to some fun dynamics. But yeah, if you have some more snug opponents that aren't really attacking each other, really trying to put each other in tough spots, free betting with hands, you know, like Optimizes opening here, something like ace five off, you start mixing these types of hands into your free betting range if you're playing against other balanced opponents that are being aggressive, and it can be very entertaining to watch. But
See, for me, myself, if I was in Hart's position, I actually would have liked to see him put in a raise there, out of position, whenever. I mean, that hand's great to call
Four check.
and check and try to connect with the board, but for myself, personally, the way my style play, I would have liked to see him put in a raise there to gain control pre-flop.
absolutely, and not only is your hand good enough to raise like pseudo for value, you know, hands like king jack suited, queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, like you're never thinking of those hands as like these absolute monsters that are just trying to build the pot as quickly as possible. But at the same time, they have such good playability post flop that you benefit a lot from having a larger pot and from taking over the betting lead, of course. So I agree with you 100%. Would have liked to have seen that. It doesn't really matter, as Hart is going to run out the Broadway straight, and his opponent has top pair. So yeah, Hart here going for. Wait,
Broke the rules and I created a second.
there must have been a misread. Hart isn't folding Broadway. So
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how we get a misread on a hand like this, because we don't even have a neighbor for.
Oh,
And we need to put these misreads under a microscope and figure out what's going on. As
in the
this
little
is
LinkedIn section,
a couple of streams in a row now where we've gotten some very strange hands playing out, and not for lack of
those are my pronouns.
understanding about the hands. Just we have the wrong cards
I can have
We
whatever
posted
as
it.
many pronouns.
so that is frustrating to say the least. So
We posted 10.
hopefully we can get that
Oh, we
sorted out.
posted that.
We still need to post it.
Yep.
Post it.
Oh, okay.
Are you,
I will say
you
what's
can't
kicking
be
my butt
smoking.
here in Texas is allergies.
Oh
Never had
yeah,
them.
welcome to the great state of cedar and mold.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be spending some money at the doctor here. Gonna go see an herbalist and join the crunchy side of
There you
life.
go, crunchy vanilla, crunchy granola. We'll just sprinkle a little bit of that over you, and you'll be right as rain.
Actually, what I heard
Kale.
is getting local honey to help build up your immunity
Mm-hmm.
is the best way to combat that if you are the crunchy granola lifestyle.
You know, don't hate on it if it works.
So choose
But
what
yeah, I mean the other thing too is I guess just diagnosing exactly what it is that is sort of attacking your body,
to
and then seeing if there's a direct response that you can
Gonna delay it.
sort of prescribe. I don't know about you. I use Zyrtec. That's the only like over-the-counter whatever that works
That's
for
good
me.
for you.
So I pretty much take one of those every night before bed during this like weird mold season
Probably
type
dominated.
situation. I don't know exactly what it is that's in the air right now. I don't know. Have you looked into that?
I have not.
Okay.
I just know it's killing me.
Yeah.
King, what suit?
Fine.
7?
Yeah. I think I want to guess that it's mold right now, but
live 25.
That's why we stay indoors, right? Play poker.
yeah, just sit next to the HVAC and let it take care of everything. All right, Hart here on the button.
Here's one thing.
8-6 off, not an inspiring hand, but always love it when you're on the button to come in usually for a raise if you're going to play this hand at all. However, he's going to limp it. Let's bring Rick in, optimize as well, and it looks like we're going to play 4 ways, family style. Kicker Problems wants to know if kale helps with allergies. Yeah, absolutely. If you smoke enough of it, it'll cure anything.
We do have a list for this 510, so I'm hoping that we have a few of these players show up. That'd be great. When they decide to roll on in, maybe they're stuck somewhere eating that good Texas barbecue. All right, sounds like we have a 5th player that'll be joining us very soon as we catch up here.
Hart betting his pair of 8s to go with the aces on board. Doug looks him up to keep him honest with the deuces. And if Hart bets again,
9 bet 175.
I suspect that Doug will pitch it in. He does. All right. So Hart will take that one down,
Thank you.
You don't want to get the YouTube
and
channel
we'll move right
canceled,
along.
man.
You were on the start.
I was just cracking my fingers, you know.
Was that your hand, Doug?
What?
Was it ace-8 that you mucked up?
Look at Doug's 42%. I mean, but he's also
Oh,
just
the
been
ace
getting
nine.
dealt some really great hands here, forehanded.
Yeah, 42,
525.
43% PFR for Doug. Definitely not going to be the standard.
And there's a red.
I always give him a hard time. Like in full ring, he usually comes in somewhere between like 10 and 15% on VPIP.
Yep.
So PFR is certainly going to be well below that. But yeah, he's waking up with some hands. And
41.
when you play four-handed, it just kind of forces you
80.
to play more,
81.
and he recognized that, right? So yeah, he's got queens for the second time as well. So it's a nice thing to have working for you.
Raise to 300, 900.
Optimize here, understandable open, but yeah, he's not going to continue there. King 9, pretty much only option at that point is to go for a fourth bet if you're going to play it at all. And King 9 really sucks to continue with. You don't have a lot of good blockers, just the king, and super disconnected.
I did have
so
an
it'd be
over.
tough to play post flop. So I like the fold.
I agree, Poker Monkey. I think if we had somebody like Chaz coming in here, hailing from San Antonio, this game would become a show to watch tonight.
Absolutely. Miss Carolyn certainly will not be joining us. She's on Rugrat duty. And Caitlin, I'm not sure where Caitlin's at. We should get her in here, though. That would be awesome.
Gotcha.
Caitlin's got other commitments tonight.
Clock.
2 raised to 35.
Rick here gonna
Yeah.
4
flash
call.
out, raise
7
35
fold.
on the $10 straddle.
Yeah, under the gun gets like under 5
Optimize
seconds.
will go lurking in the hills looking for sets. And
Maybe
Hart will
confirm if
complete
they're
from the
straddle
straddle,
or not.
or the big
Then
blind
it's
rather.
easy.
Go 3 players to a flop.
Should be something where whoever gets the clock
Nobody
called
connecting.
the most.
This one, pocket 3s out in front.
2 bet 55.
Rick gonna take a little stab at this. Optimize should certainly continue.
4
He will do so
9
just for a call.
Heads up.
Are those queens black? Or they haven't identified their
They haven't
color?
identified.
Charlie will burn and turn the deuce of diamonds here on the turn. Pretty good card for Optimize, and unless Rick continues and for what I would imagine to be size up,
You have to have the nuts, right? You have to have pocket queens.
stick around. I don't know, 100 is this kind of weird wager size, right? You kind of feel like, oh God, are you just milking me? You just got like king queen over here, and you're just like, I don't want you to fold, so I'm just at 100. But at the same time, it's kind of a weird bet size as well. It's like, is this really accomplishing anything? Are you really building a pot to maximize the value here? And Optimize is going to go ahead and sniff that out. He makes the call. The 10 of spades here on the end. Rick is going to have to attack once again. 420 is in the middle. He needs to size up now.
Looks like 235 is coming out.
I mean, this is just a shade over half pot. It just looks too value-y. Optimize is like, all right, I already looked you up twice. Like, you're just not going to bluff me 3 streets.
Thank you.
And Rick is. So, get wrecked.
Please hit the button now, Blake.
Well played, Rick. That's certainly something that I think
We
the snug players should mix into their game a lot more frequently, is taking these boards that are just like really hard for anyone to have anything on it and just triple barrel it down, you know, just, or check raise, or do things that
Yes.
are just like the really strong line in the hand because your opponents are just going to have to give you credit for it.
Right.
Because you just don't play very many hands, or you don't play very many hands aggressively.
Well, when you're so snug, when you pick spots like that, the story you tell is so much more believable too.
You're right.
9.
Yeah, I mean that's a strong lesson in any game, but we certainly learned that one in the Deuce 7 game we were playing yesterday, which is, you know, there's a few players that tend to just kind of sit back and wait for a really good hand or a really good draw to get in there, and then all of a sudden they just like hit you with a pat, like big bet. You're like, oh god, I guess you just have it. You fold, and they just turn over trips, and you're like, come on, why are they doing this to me? God.
Every Wednesday, that's generally starts about what, 4:30, 4 o'clock.
Oh, on Wednesdays for the Deuce 7, yeah.
It's a great game. Had a few different players come in and mix it up, and players learn in Deuce 7. They usually play single draw style. It's a great game. A lot of fun.
What do you think between limit triple draw or no limit single draw? What's your preferred?
No limit single draw.
Yeah, me too.
There's just so much more dynamic to the game. For me, where it's a mind game.
Way soon. 5 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the triple draw is just like, it's like limit hold'em. It's like who's going to just make the best hand at the showdown.
Yep.
And obviously there's strategy and there's things that go into it. But like in triple draw, like everybody is just like, oh, well, I've got 2 wheel cards, so I'm going to draw 3. Like,
Yeah.
And it's no problem because you just have to put a bet or 2 out there to get another draw. Whereas in single draw, no limit, like you can really put pressure on people. You can do the pat, you know, big bets with nonsense, you know, just blocking a lot of the wheel cards or whatever. So a lot of fun strategies to
Maybe
implement.
that 7 identifies.
The no limit single draw.
Now you're gonna get it. Come
All right, Rick here had flopped top pair and an up and down range. He turned the jack high straight.
7 folds.
A cascade of folds around the table will commence, and he'll drag the pot here.
You never know what anything is. Nothing has any identity.
your kids at Roadhouse.
Yeah, my first introduction to Deuce to 7
They're actually going to
was just playing mixed games. We had a limit mixed game.
It's pure.
Just a lot of the dealers here from PCH Austin get together, maybe every other week or something like that, just playing some 5-10.
5-10 limit mix, yeah.
Yeah, and just a bunch of wacky games, you know, Follow the Queen and Sassy and all this stuff where it's just like infinite draws and you're playing 2 boards and this, and 1 card or 1 hand, a 5-card draw or something, like all these things happening at the same time.
No, it's
And just a lot of fun, you know, mostly just people drinking and having a good time. And then somebody was like, let's play some
they
Deuce
choose
7.
their own call.
And I was a little bit familiar with it, but mostly from the
4 raised to 125.
limit style, where you draw 3 times. And I was like, no, let's play single draw, where it's no limit. In that version of the game that we were playing, it was like a cap. You had more than $100 or something like that. But I just enjoyed it so much that now that we're getting a weekly game together, it's really awesome.
And I mean, 6-handed, that game is great. I mean, there's just so many spots, and feel the pressure sometimes. I love the short-handed version of the game.
So you're lying.
All right, Hart here with the ace-king. Will raise it up out of the straddle, and everybody gets out of his way.
That was the call that they went
Let's see here. It is just about 8 minutes past the 7 o'clock hour, which means
call.
that the football game is going to get started here before long. Do you, let's see here, I was going to say, do you have a horse in this race? But you're a 49ers fan, and they don't really care about the Bucks or the Ravens, huh?
You would get in trouble.
Oh my
So you
God.
walked in and wrote your name as like strawberry shortcake that day, or
I'm going to take one last peek at my lineup, as I do have
you have to call that Batman.
multiple players playing tonight.
Saturday night live.
Pretty much everything had already been confirmed earlier during warm-up. So looks like Rashad Bateman and yeah, Rashad Bateman is going to play. He's one of my wideouts this week.
School them or
Do you play fantasy football at all?
You know, I haven't. It's one of those that I just haven't, you know,
And none of,
working.
525.
but none of that exists at this new better
Fantasy
school.
football.
Or
I'd
not.
love to. I think it would be a great. I mean, everybody talks about it at the table. It's one of those that I feel like I
That's
definitely
good.
would
It's giving me
like
hope.
to find
You know, where
a
kids
league
have
to
names.
join.
What is this
And
kid's name? Pink Lemonade? Or
I'd be easy money.
Are you ready?
Being
Well.
a first timer, he's like, well,
In that
we
case.
happen to have a spot.
Well, I know that the TCH Austin staff have a league, so maybe you'll have to hop in there next time around.
did your kids ever change your name?
Weasel your way in. I'm not sure how many teams they have in the league. But yeah, I've got a couple of 12-team leagues that are fun. One is new this year, one I've been doing for, gosh, about a decade now.
In this like new private school, then you yourself change.
All right,
your
heads up
name.
to a flop we go
It's like
between
from,
Rick and Optimize. Limp top pre. That's
What-
Optimize
on-
flop
on
top
how
and
you're
bottom
doing.
pair, but Rick has
Let's say, like,
not a
some-
prayer,
by some other name.
so she's likely just gonna check fold. We'll take one more peek and be like, yeah, no, that's.
I mean, he's
pretty bad.
optimized. You're changing your name all the time. I go by John. I go by my name. I'm assuming your name is Rick.
I think
Yeah.
we should do his law
Well, I
first.
mean, like I said, we constantly change our names. I didn't give
Yeah.
them
Once again, sorry.
Oh, I'd like to see them mix it up and maybe throw in another bomb pot here. But I'd love to see the shorthanded tables. I'd love to see the PLO bomb pot single board, especially with these guys. It just I think it would open up maybe create some more
Would you
action.
prefer it if your birth name was optimized?
I've sort of found the opposite
All
actually.
one big play.
So there have been there's a number of players that like to call either like pineapple or PLO single board stuff like that when it's their turn to call the game.
I am the
And
optimizer.
what I've found is that like the double board, just by the sheer fact that there's so many more opportunities and that people tend to play bomb pots poorly,
Yeah.
and they're like, I have something on that board and nothing on the other one, but I'll put more chips in at least to a turn. You'll see the pots like swell up pretty quickly, whereas on the single board, like if people just don't have anything on that board, like they're just out, and it just really quickly whittles down to like the two players that have something, and they go faster. And like if that's your jam to just like move on to the next hand, then I think those are going to be superior. But in terms of action and floating up the pots, the double boards to me, there's just no question those are going to be bigger, more exciting.
I definitely agree. I just think I just think here in Austin, especially at TCH, not a lot of people are exposed to PLO. But if you were to put that dynamic in another, back in Vegas, like you definitely get a lot
Or
of
reds
action
and he identifies
on
them as
those.
green.
For me personally, I prefer the single board just because I'm greedy. I like to be the only winner, especially when multiple people connect. Oh wow, looks like Rick ends up with just
Trade toothpicks for
Yeah, heart betting the flop there.
identify it as
Getting called by Rick. Check, turn, and yeah, Rick trips. Rick will fire, and Hart is done with 5.
absolutely.
Well, 1:30 tomorrow, and UT come to the Vita rally. You'll meet a lot of like.
Yeah, PLO is a very interesting game. Again, I'm not very experienced with it, but the little bit of experience that I have is, you either end up in these spots where like you have a really strong pre-flop hand, sort of, raise it up to try to whittle down the field, get it down to just like 3 players going to a flop, and then like yeah, sometimes you're just going to absolutely crush that flop, but so many times you're not, and it's tricky to try to figure out like what are my opponents continuing with, and how are they going to interact with this board in terms of their like overall ranges, and it just seems very complicated. And I know that with enough experience of just getting in there and splashing around, firing, you'll kind of pick up on it naturally, but that's not something I have no
These
experience
identify
with quite yet.
as
people the value of position,
identify these as 3 green.
especially the blockers that you hold that connect with the board. Those have so much value, especially in a shorthanded PLO game,
Only one is actually.
which is my preference.
25
Six-handed PLO, I think, is like probably one of the truest forms of poker you can match.
Good job.
All right, we have a 5th player joining us. Raul's
You guys are? Yeah.
shown up. He's going to be in seat number 8. He's a local player here in Austin. Generally plays at TCH almost every day. He's a very nice guy. A lot of fun at the table.
My
Yeah.
raise.
What are you
Caught him
coming
in
in
a few
for?
spots.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great. I love it when he once he gets going and gets comfortable. I love watching it. He's definitely puts in the pressure, likes to put in a lot of bluffs, but he picks great spots. Too.
Harley's actually
He's not afraid.
but she doesn't.
Cool. Yeah, Raul definitely ran like Jesus wearing Reebok a couple of streams ago. I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something
I wish
like
the
that.
cage would identify
Came
those as
in
two
and,
blinds. Do you wanna, you'll be playing on the big blind draw.
Pleasure to watch.
You can straddle.
At least for him, several other players would have felt differently as they got kind of run over by him. But we'll see how Raul does here this evening as he sits down in the big blind.
Under the gun. Woo, guys. You're gonna straddle? Okay.
Heart in your
Yes,
first
here we
act, he will,
2 for
he does make the straddle before he looks at his cards.
525 raw.
I'm actually looking forward to between Raul and Hart getting some restraddles going on.
9
Oh, Raul has a blocker. He's gonna raise it up and take it down with the hand. Exact suits and everything.
For sure.
Yeah.
Become the new hand.
That
Maybe identifies changes.
yeah, it's funny. Every time I look down at Jack's book, War of Hearts, I'm like, oh good lord, do I do something stupid here? Usually I just talk myself out of it because it's ridiculous.
It's hard not to hear Mr. Poppy GTO Joey in your head when you look down at that after countless 12-hour, 14-hour days of just of all of that back and forth investigative reporting we had going on with for a good week straight. That was really entertaining to watch, and definitely that hand will go down, will not disappear.
No, that is here for the full duration at this point.
2
It'll be the new bounty hand.
4 raise.
Take over 7
There's
deuce.
J
Move aside. Jack 4 is in the house.
Have a seat. Hey, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, the day after it happened, we were fully playing the Jack 4 game.
Carly, can you ask them what seat I'm in?
I did not get it during the session, but several other players did and got paid.
Stream record.
Optimized suited ace. He'll open this up to 35. Doug will just call on the button.
Clock on like
Suited connectors like this, certainly good enough to call, also good enough to go for a third bet sometimes. And either way, he flops the flush. Pretty good.
9 chip.
Neither other player connects though, so I think it's just I do see Optimize obviously leading again with being the initial aggressor. I would like to see a flat here from Doug. Especially shorthanded. I'm not gonna be scared of the back left just yet.
Yeah, I might take a different line on it as you are going to play in position. Your opponent can have a lot of kings, and
Yeah, that's yours.
the raise there can just build the pot sooner. Whereas like what we have here, like let's say that the optimized does indeed have like king jack, right? He's going to bet flop, gets called, now he's going to slow down. And yes, he's going to call a bet on the turn, most likely. But if he check calls, or sorry, if he bet calls a raise on the flop and the 6 of heart comes off, he's probably going to put in another call, right? So you get that extra bet in before you get to a river where just top pair is going to start to feel a little bit shriveled up. So I would have actually liked to have seen a raise, but Doug is going to play it the more passive way. Does bet 100 on the turn. Optimize will go for the check call and checks once again here on the end. Just picking up that lone
okay to miss.
6 of hearts.
It really is.
Good enough for Optimize to make the call. Interesting.
Wow. Massive overbet here for Doug.
Yeah, 2x on
What
the end.
what was that?
Trying to get paid by, I guess, 8 king.
Maybe king within his club draw.
Maybe he'd identify it.
I don't see that getting paid off though. Definitely not with Optimize there. I mean, by that, he knits up pretty well. If he doesn't
CNN.
believe Doug
That's what.
there, he's gonna
Yeah, it's really easy.
He massively overraised there.
Proclaim.
I could see him actually calling if he had the ace of clubs there, but other than that, I see definitely he made the right decision to fold there.
Live 25, live
Yeah, there's just not very many combinations that can stand that level of aggression. And because Doug has a 9 in his hand,
live
it blocks
50.
the.
Did you ask?
I mean, I guess there's not going to be a lot of king 9 offs, but it was single raise pot on pre-flop. So there's a few of them in there. I don't know. It's a tough spot to get paid when you go for that big bet like that, and the river is a 9. In any case, we're onwards and upwards. Hand number
Yeah, how's it going, Hart?
37, Hart here.
Good to see you.
Into the bag or something. He will then look at it.
I don't know why we're
7.
short-handed today.
Nice fold.
He's gonna limp this at least. He'll fold. Get back to
2 raise, go down
rummaging.
25, 4, 7.
And Rick is gonna raise and take it with some 9.
Jaywin has showed
I
up.
live equidistant.
We are now
So it's great.
6-handed.
Your
Okay.
starting stack, Jay?
Excellent.
Okay.
Haven't seen my man Jay win in a little bit, so welcome to the game,
Yeah,
Jay.
I'm like super flexible to play whatever.
That's great. That's perfect.
Even I'm actually even also equidistant to the one.
Raul up some
the
Taco
domain.
Bell money. He's up $25.
Oh,
Not that I ever
I've
played
never
there,
been
but-
there. I've never been there. And the last time I played at the lot, is it the lot?
Will
Somebody
you
told me
please
about
post
that.
place 10? Thank you. Live 25.
Thursday night
Is
football
that
is
a-
often.
The place at the.
It's a good room, but it's a boutique, place. So I think right now they're only
Alright.
spreading like 1, 2 games.
Jay win, man of the hour. $25 in there on the straddle.
3.
8 fold.
How's it going, Jamie?
Fold.
Good man, how are you?
2 fold. 4 fold.
And he's just gonna get a walk on the first hand because Optimize isn't even at the table. Oh no,
just
Hart
open.
had limp.
Yeah.
Call,
Hard.
flop, call turn,
call.
then fold any river bet.
Door card 10, right away for Hart.
5 check.
Gonna go check that probably fold and move on to the next.
Seems like that is what should happen. Jaywin, though, seemingly thinking this on through. The full pot size bet is a little bit weird from a hand on the button, but
What's the
doesn't
topic
really
of the day?
matter because 6-7 interacts.
Did he come up with the
Throw
competition?
the
Absolutely.
cards
Okay,
you
well,
want to
that's-
have, so
I'm already halfway caught up.
pretty much don't have a choice but to get out of the way. Now, if you had something like 9-8 or something you could think about, going for a check raise there, you'd be like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Right now,
Like that, when we identify these chips as things, so it's really $2,000 bet.
not quite steady.
Bomb pot. Ante up.
The problem
All right,
is
we've got ourselves real lineup here now. Six-handed, I think,
identify
is
because that would be
stuff.
profile.
Coming in, you have a $25 Annie bomb pot.
But that's the same with like 2 queens on a flop. We can't, they don't identify
Cody is
as
up or
queens.
down
We
2
can't
bets
identify
at this
them as
point.
like kings or
So I
something.
definitely
You can't identify
like to
others.
see some swings going on.
So they're all just,
Swing
they're just
You gotta,
like
you have
blanks.
to politely ask the
what they
card
want.
what they are.
carnage, right?
You can't
Exactly.
like look at the
Praise
profile.
Jesus to do that.
Well, that's the way he whispers to me. I just whisper.
All right, so 6 players going to take.
Probably put your
Flops
cards
here.
back on the stand.
Card.
No, I'm not holding you. It won't let me put a flop out until they read. Sorry.
Player's hand should be here up on the
Sir,
screen.
you haven't touched your cards. I'm just gonna muck you.
Check.
So what we see so far, Optimize
Forward
has
check.
pair on both boards. Backdoor hearts on top.
5 check, 7 check, 8 check.
Jaywin
Jaywin
top
has
2 pair
yeah.
and an up and downer, so he's got something to work
9
with.
bets, 80.
But it's Hart who's going to lead at this with just the 5 and the 3 scanned in at this.
Bomb pots are uncapped here, right?
Jaywin has got actually open-ended on bottom 2. He's definitely
5
on for the ride.
call. 7 fold, 8 fold, heads up.
Poker history is made.
Yeah.
That's going to whittle it down to 2, so heads up to the turn.
First time I've beat it, there's been double digits in history.
Bingo for J-Win on bottom.
50%.
I think his hand is now
Just the
strong
two of
enough
us?
It
That's still only like
Certainly.
50% out of odd
to lead at this.
from Josh.
I'd like to see him extract some value, which he does. He doesn't put in a full pot. 250 is coming out. It's a great size.
Depending on what Hart has under there to go along with the 5 and the 3, I suspect he's going to continue. Kind of tough for him to bet this flop unless he actually does have something like 2 pair of trips on top,
9 call.
like pocket 3s.
Yes, sir.
A likely candidate. He is going to make the call, and very unlikely that he has pocket 3s at this point, but still possible. The 3 does pair on top.
And he does end up with a wheel on bottom, so it looks like Jay will definitely extract some more value unless Hart is boated on the top. The queen 6 still feels pretty strong for him, I think, especially with his nut straight on bottom.
6.
5 bet 600.
Yeah, he will bet 3/4 here for 600, and these 2 players going to chop this up most likely, as Hart would need to have a 6-7 of his own over there, and that would have been worthy of a re-raise. So he's going to play at least trip 3s on top, take that half of the pot.
I'm sorry,
Jay will get the bottom over. And sure enough, it is going to be trip 3s.
If you parlay a single and we identify this as a clean top,
That's
good to me.
do you appreciate that?
Hammer's asking if they always do double board bomb pots on stream.
Identify it as a king.
Yes, generally here they do every dealer change, which is roughly every half an hour. They do a double board bomb pot on stream. So probably I think will be in the box what for about 2 hours.
Jaywen has a straight.
Yeah, usually go 2 hours, and then Jesse steps in and brings it home. All right, so there we go. Back it in half. Those 2 players each going to profit about $50, and we will
Thank you.
right along.
Thank you.
Seems like I'm playing tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Just about 80 of you fine folks hanging out with us this evening.
It's a shut up and deal. It's pretty good.
Thank you, Crazy Frenchman. Yeah, make sure to go ahead and smash that like button if you're joining us here tonight.
Live 25. Upper
Don't
set
be
up.
afraid to share the YouTube link out to your friends. You want to come and join us here. Again, we have a 6-handed 5-10 game going on with the, not a mandatory 25, but most players are putting it in.
Eight raise to 75, 9.
All right, Raul here with the jack of spades, at the very least, is going to make it 35 to go. And Rick, next to act, with 2 black kings. He's going to raise this up to 15 on the button.
I like that sizing. You definitely want at least 1 color coming along.
Yeah, right around 3x is going to be pretty standard. And Raul is going to make the call, so here we go. Heads up to a flop with Raul on a little bit of a mystery hand.
Heads up.
I have to assume he holds either Jack 10, Queen Jack, something in that mix. And Rick smashes with a set of kings.
Yeah, top set always feels good. Board is a little bit connecty in terms of pretty flushy cards.
2 bet.
Fortunately, I don't think that rule connected, so this probably will shut down right here.
Yeah, we know Raul doesn't have King Jack of spades, which is the only sort of reasonable hand to continue with other than Pocket Jacks. Pocket Jacks could definitely take off another card in case your opponent does have something like a queen, or even Pocket 10s, but yeah, Pocket Jack jack's going to feel a little bit dicey as well, especially with the existing stack to pot ratio. But Raul is going to go for the call here, and I now suspect that he has pocket jacks. This is sort of a cooler type scenario. Seven of spades now on the turn, pairs the board.
I'd actually be surprised though if Raul has jacks here, only because I think we would have found him letting us know that pre-flop. He definitely strong arms when he gets big pairs. Against a position Rick has on the button with a raise like that, I definitely would have seen Raul in the here. So interesting to see if he does have jacks though. That's unlikely line he would have taken holding jacks. But if he calls here, the only hand he could have is jacks.
One would assume it'd be pretty unlikely for him to have the king of diamonds over there, or a king jack offsuit type. He is thinking this one through though, so whether it's king of diamonds or pocket jack, it is not.
Yeah,
It's not folding this.
it means of the dawn.
Are pretty much the only options at this point. Given that the jack of spades, I mean, we presume actually in his hand.
Well, she's really active at night, so everyone says if they're active at night, that's usually when
Yeah, buying in
the trends
relatively short
come out. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
at
but
this
it's gonna
point
take a while.
is a pot-sized wager. And a little bit of a, like, strong play here from Rick. Like, he has basically just walked his hand up.
I mean,
He's playing it super aggressive, as though he might have some sort of, like, heart flush draw type hand.
I mean, I'd be okay
Or
with
like an ace queen, I suppose, that is just like, I don't know, I probably just have to bet
I don't know
in
any
this,
woman that
and,
like wishes their
like, I
leader
have all
to be
the
able
best
to.
kings, so
Beat
get wrecked,
to go to
but
Disney. That was really fun.
not sure Rick is really the type of player to make that.
yep.
So when he just like puts all the money in here,
We did a Disney
really give
cruise.
Raul a chance to improve his hand to second place that feels comfortable enough to put the rest of the money
It was
in
all
here.
on
So
the cruise.
it may be a little bit of
One of
a
the songs was like
misstep if Raul does end up making it here, but we'll see.
Oh yeah.
But I guess what he's looking at is how short Raul is. That unlikely after a player's put in so much that if he's got only 800 behind, that
Whoa, Rick had
Oh,
ace
he has
king, not
ace
king.
with the heart
Oh,
one, he had ace of hearts.
Strong hand.
People.
Some games that's a nuts.
Now,
Yeah,
now that
these
makes a
guys
little
are
more
killing
sense.
So a lot more kings out there now. Certainly
I'm in the middle of a weight loss bet.
Yeah, king jack is definitely more likely now.
This morning,
If you
I am
consider that, but
-8.
I don't actually know if he did have king jack, then if he would have laid it down at that point.
yeah.
So here's the thing.
You better back.
Although if
Exactly.
you
So,
have
but here's the plan.
experience with your
If I can
opponent,
get it to less than
make
less than 5 pounds
like
within
big-ish
the
folds like
within the
that,
last 24
right?
hours, I'm pretty much gonna do a hard
no way
one.
to pass through
So hit the sauna,
real
get
hand.
the gym sweatsuit.
Sometimes, yeah.
I can sweat 5. I mean, I'm 200 pounds. I can sweat
Now
5
let's see. So we're gonna get a new deck, and as we watch this up, let's go ahead and throw in
It is.
Assume you're gonna
our
fast
promo
regular.
that is only
I'm
active
eating
for a few
less
more
than
days
1,000.
here
I'm
in
eating
Austin.
significantly less than
So if
1,000
you're in or
calories.
around the
Maybe
area,
like 700
last chance to
calories.
pop in and get in on this action.
Success.
That's right, just for a
I've
few
lost
more
zero-
days
I've
here in the
lost
month of
3 weight loss bets this year.
October. Get yourself a sweet
It's starting to
the
fucking
one.
hurt. If I lose
time.
this one, I'd be at
Running
negative
into
10K for the year.
20%
Like, it's not
bonus
fun.
hours.
9 raised.
And you can actually, that's an unlimited amount.
I don't know why all this
So
is.
for every 100 you do, you get that $20 extra bonus.
5,
There is no cap to that. Anytime you buy 100, you get that 20.
You must not love yourself enough.
Just for a few more days, and the
The last time I was
monthly
there,
like high hand
the
promotions,
last time I
whatever
bought,
as well that are
I
going
gave
on,
her like 50%.
are also going to change.
I was like halfway through.
Right now-
We're like,
News is
Right now
Quad
today,
aces.
quad ace is
Quad
That's
ace
all
is
guys.
1400. That's correct. Yep.
How much you like you should expose
Doug here with a couple
What
of
was the other
deuces.
I have
Hard
2.1K of action,
8 of hearts?
I don't remember the I don't remember.
but
Well,
1,000 of that, there's
Who's
like
out here exposing 8
players
deuce like I
part
did?
the original Razor
top
Doug.
high,
That's-
which is a very likely scenario. Because he and I are
7
both on
check, 9 check.
John Party. He did a couple
yeah, yeah,
games.
yeah.
High flop,
he and I
check,
had this
check.
So he's trying to lose along with you.
Oh, Chase and I got $100 on, but I think Chase is
Seven
fine.
bet 5.
He hasn't lost any weight at all. I don't know. He's tried, from my understanding.
Okay, apparently we have a
9
misread once again. I do want to apologize to our
Can't believe you
viewers.
called
Not
that.
sure what exactly is going on. I guess we are going to do another deck change.
Yeah, Rahul
At
exposed
some
all your outs.
Yeah, just sort of relaying to you the information that I have from
You
our
adjusted?
producer Kristen. But yeah, just unfortunate scenario with
My
it,
Giants
which we're having some technical.
And I'm so used to losing that I didn't realize we were good this year.
Yeah.
It was like,
But
I
we'll
brought my
just,
jersey out of the
plow
wood.
ahead,
I
you
have
know?
a
We'll
fucking
just
Saquon Barkley jersey that I've never worn.
what we see is
I started bringing it out.
improvement.
The dude was injured for 2 years. Like, it was just like
Action
riding.
in front of us. Play a little mystery hand,
Yeah, I'm from the Bronx.
which is always great
Like, I'm
because
from
it
New York
does, you know, again,
Yeah.
2 cards.
Oh, okay, I was thinking.
Oh,
A lot
sorry,
of
we're talking
holdings
about
sometimes
baseball.
when you're in position. The holdings aren't
Yeah.
what matters. It's
Don't know
what
how the hell
story you tell.
Yankees lost so bad
That
to
is
the
for sure.
Stros. That was weird.
Well, I just was wondering, I was gonna ask, do you think that the Giants are gonna get judged, you know?
Card, will you scan your cards?
So as we get hand number 42 underway, tell me what
It's not out of the world for them to
what was
lose.
it that got you
Yeah.
into poker originally? So you've been in this
They would
atmosphere
get-
for quite a
they
while.
would get-
You know, so funny enough, I actually
Oh, the Yankees gonna break the
where I
bank to
was
keep him.
where I was raised, there wasn't any
But
casinos.
the Giants had said they
There were some
won't
card houses,
help
but
you.
I wasn't aware
That's
that they
what
even
they said.
existed until I
Oh, you're saying another team is.
actually went to
I don't know anything. I don't know very much about
casino, which was a
baseball.
couple hours away for the first time, and
But I feel like with
back in
athletes,
California,
they're gonna
the
make
Indian
so much
casinos,
money.
you know,
Like that has a factor in it.
my
He may
parents
be the
actually really
highest
enjoyed
paid
going and
athlete ever.
And he's in New York
bingo
City.
grinders, bingo grinders. So, of course, that was foreign to me. So I started playing blackjack.
Okay, when you talk about 50%,
secretly, you know. My parents were always like, "Hey, so where'd you get this money?"
Yeah, let's come back to that story. I want to hear the end or more about it. But we've got Bart here with 5 of diamonds in hand and turning. Trip 5 says Raul has pocket queens. And Raul just quickly letting go of the queens there.
No, absolutely.
Just
It's like
absolutely
long as
not
Frank
interested
has
in even thinking about paying the queens off.
and it's like
Raul did definitely got
Have you heard from him recently? Yeah. I've been glued to the table.
Kevin Durant is like, all right, I want my championship. Like, getting so much flack for being here. I just want to go to another team and make my own basketball team.
Well, he told me that
right,
he
yeah,
bought
looks
some
like
of
you
the
have
ace queen versus queens like the
Brady
first
could dominate for like.
So grinded the blackjack.
Yeah, you know, and that kind of found a love for blackjack. You know, then when I'd get bored, I'd wander around the casino and saw a bunch of people sitting down, and there was no casino money, and I was like, "What is this game?" Lo and behold, it was Texas Hold'em. My first experience was actually
He hasn't, we're not doing mandatory, he hasn't.
I see. Yeah, cool.
the youngest person there by at least half
Uh-huh.
my
Yeah, that
age.
is, that is an old gentleman's game, that's for sure.
So it was.
Does everyone keep it? Is there anyone
I was
paying
definitely.
attention
I
to everyone
love
else?
the psychology poker. I love the sportsmanship, and for me, what I kind of like was a perfect marriage for me. When I learned and I think a little bit of gamble in me, I was never afraid to put on pressure. Having that free blackjack money from the house, I was like, this was perfect. I'd sneak away from my parents, you know, and
Up your schedule on the
hide the
screen.
winnings, and pretty much then secretly became a little grinder of poker. And found local card rooms, and I guess I was able to sneak in. I tipped enough to the staff, nobody questioned my age, and then they were like, "Hey, you want a job?" And I was like, "Great, I get paid to play, paid to deal it."
And so,
I'm in. And I was hooked.
It'll show two
dream.
cards or above your name.
I need to create some
So your parents very much did not approve of this, even though you were making money.
That is correct. They didn't believe in it. They didn't believe that. They believed that I was just gambling for a living. Even
Generally
though
Sunday.
I spent many a dollar in the
Yeah,
machines
Sunday, Monday,
and,
Tuesday. I really can't play.
And the bingo hall.
the bingo hall, you know, they disapproved of
I might as well just
Texas
those
poker.
3 days out of the week that I can't play.
All variations. I was not afraid, and I was any stakes. It was pretty much, I knew, my fallback was always had blackjack money coming in, so I was not afraid to dive into the biggest stakes there was. And for me, was, I guess, having an addictive personality.
Okay.
I was like, it was like, make me feel something.
I like the
Pain or pleasure,
three
either way. But again, I guess that kind of helped
I think it's the best game we have
catapult
in
my
the
game
league now,
into
honestly. It's
not
really
afraid
hard
Like
to,
stakes are lower, so like they can gamble
Well,
more.
and the bet
put in the
size
plus,
is so
put in
much
the
more
middle
accurate
calls, and
because on 1-2 it's
pretty
pretty
interesting
abnormal
dynamics
to
that I
be
created for
opening to
myself when I was
15
younger,
at
and
every table in
so
three
now,
on
yeah,
1-2,
totally.
but on
I just love
1-3
the
it's like
game.
a
It's
very standard
enjoyment
opening
now.
to be able to
Kind
bet.
of
I thought you meant
retired from the
1-3.
grinding life of playing
I'm
full
saying
time.
like 1-3
Just
as a whole, like
raising my
against
kids and
any
loving
other
Texas
game
life
that
here.
we usually
Cool.
get going regularly.
How many kids you got?
Live
I have
25.
4 kiddos. All right.
And 2-5's usually just all over.
All right, Jay Whitney here putting on the
7
25.
fold, 8 fold. It's like you have your
When it
next
gets
like
back around to him, we will.
9 races, 75.
By the dealer.
2,
Wow.
4, 4,
While
4.
dealing with strangers on the internet.
Doug was just chilling.
Hundreds of people, okay, tens of
He gives me a
people.
hard time with them all the time.
Part here now.
5 races,
Side does want to see a
350.
flop for 325 with a
9
disconnected
fold.
ace and
I mean, I'm a big fan too. I'm not judging you at all. I just like calling you out on shit. But
yeah,
there's not really any,
the
like, I feel like there's not
concept
really
of playing
a balance.
poker for a
It
living
really
has
is, like,
definitely
there's
been
people that are trying,
a,
like waiting on their like good hands, and then there's like
not really like a
spots
struggle
where
or
it's not
necessarily,
working
but
out.
for certain people, they look at it and just like kind of furl their eyebrows, like, wait, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, like you were a scientist and now you do like
525.
it's not something that everybody can get on board with or even have the ability to like fully digest. That's actually a way that you can.
Who's commentating that?
But
Aaron and
yeah, it's also been pretty interesting to have conversations with people
Oh, cool.
and
8
sort
races,
of open their eyes to it. as well.
Physicist, right?
Originally, yeah.
Okay. See, I think for me, what is great is, so to speak, in the grind of life. Like, poker opens up that spot and opportunity to allow you to create a living, and if you decide to ever step away, it stays a pastime. It stays a part of your life where, you can always fall back on your chin and choose in a different line of work, but
Thank you.
it's always there. It's always available, whether you
might have fun
choose to do
Thanksgiving
it for a
plans?
living or for a pastime. And
say
the
pluckers?
great thing about it is the dynamic.
Oh, I thought you said pluckers. I was like, Doug,
coming up.
you can come over to my house, man, if pluckers is your plan.
As you get older, the younger and younger players are playing this different style from our age. I
In
think,
Austin, or are you gonna travel?
again, the whole
You
the
just
GTO
moved.
optimal
So,
play style
you don't have family?
involving
Oh,
charts
no,
and everything, and overanalyzing
Oh,
the game where
perfect. Got
the
it.
instinctual feeling that you get that I grew up with, where
Got it.
it had to do with a lot more of subconscious observations that I wasn't even aware of, where it was an instinctual type of play or old school street style poker
Okay.
versus the GTO style. So I think right now the dynamics of the game is just so amazing to see because you do have that old street style poker still going on with the younger players coming in who, pretty much more on the robotic line of poker,
8
and
fold.
it just makes for a great game. Both opposite ends of what people still view as like a true form of poker, and having, putting time in the lab, so to speak. Once, they say that for every hour that you play live, that you should be putting in at least that outside for study time.
Yeah, if you're doing this, like,
If you're doing this consistently,
Some of my
you're
siblings are
of
gonna
the younger
come to my house. I'll
mindset.
host Thanksgiving this year.
That's.
Um,
But what I like about Texas though is you do
family
have people
time,
who
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday.
just are here to enjoy themselves. A lot of the games here at TCH Austin.
Also having Frank.
I would say at every table you might have maybe one quote unquote grinder, but Most everybody's here just blowing off steam after work or
exactly.
having a night out, enjoying drinking. It's a BYOB here house, so it's just a great dynamic of players. There's never a dull moment here at TC
And now
Austin.
Waffles card.
That's
Doug
for sure.
never misses an opportunity to needle Jesus.
All right, let's see here. So Rick not in his seat for his ace queen off.
One more, baby.
That's very rare.
Jaywin will open it up on the button ace 4 offsuit.
I was once Jesus for Halloween.
It's just you with
Lightning, did you enjoy the experience?
It's kind of cool.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Just getting a heads up on some upcoming action, so we'll cover that here in just a moment. But as for right now, we've got Art here flopping second pair of 9s. Jaywin after being checked to
Went to
Nine
bar.
ball.
betting lead. He'll go ahead and c-bet just to see if he can take this one down. Art will stick around.
You
We
have
have
to
4 clubs in the turns now. Pair for Jaywin,
rule number 1 of that.
giving him a little bit of showdown equity. If Art had some
You
sort
didn't wear
of
sandals, right?
straight draw, back to the flush draw type holding.
I don't see Jalen shutting down here, especially check. So nobody else connects with the river. I see this going check.
It's because you have
Yeah.
knives.
chick. And
Indeed, 10 of clubs here on the end.
check,
Art
check.
will check and show down the 9, which is good. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you can take these hands like bottom pair on the turn and just continue barreling them
Your
because
siblings like to come to Austin.
you
so, yeah.
have
I mean,
improved,
those have a
but
glass
your
in my
opponent is very
relationship.
unlikely to
My
have
chest
improved.
into a
So
cross.
you can
I think
continue
most people
barreling.
like
You
it.
do have
That's the
outlets
good
to
thing about
improve
Austin is most
more.
people who live
Running
here
forward,
like
you
that,
get ace on the end.
Good looking Jesus. That's
Have already built a spot for when you do get there. And then the flip side, of course, is that if your opponent did have some sort of like a time keep applying pressure, like they're going to have to fold that hand by the end. And you're really only going to get called by a jack, by the end of the. And even when like the 10 of clubs peels off on the end there, like you might even be able to get a jack to fold, but it starts to become less and less appealing, appetizing, I should say, to continue with your 3-barrel bluff by the time you get called twice. But always an option. So Jaywin, of course, is shutting it down there,
5 raise to 30, 7 fold,
taking his showdown, which is no good, unfortunately.
8 call, 9 call, 3 raise.
He will take another ride on the pony here with his pocket 5s, and he'll get called in 2 spots.
Surprised to see the queen 4 call there. The cards is correct.
5
Yeah, not a very inspiring couple of cards. If I'm going to play queen 4 off, it's usually as a 3-bet. You can take some of these high card, low card sort of off-suited hands and 3-bet them from the blind, especially when you get a cold caller in between the original raiser, just because your hand range is going to be a lot stronger, and you have a high card like that, you do have / high card equity that you can work with if you get called. But as it stands, we're just going to check the flop. Jalen turn.
Did you guys come up with names yet?
Aurora.
Aurora?
Yes. We were debating on a middle name. I have a lot that I like, and Jeremy doesn't like any of them. So.
It'll. My wife and I debate on names, but like when it came,
All right, 5, 10, and 25. You can take another 1 pound earnings. Part
you agree
here.
on it real fast. Once
Still
you
up
get
the
it right.
most, nearly
And we
1.5K.
instantly
Rick
agreed
up
on the
a
first
shade
name.
over
Like,
600. Jay went. He's ready to go to Taco Bell. At a moment's notice. Up
Can you give us an
10 bucks.
example?
Everybody else.
I like
Costco pizza money too.
Luanette?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What does that mean in English?
everybody's got their own
I
vibes.
don't know. I think I know it's like
That's like a whole lot of mouth
it's
movement.
supposed to be
My
moon.
main jam when I'm going out for.
It sounds like me when I'm drunk.
525. Bay.
Face cube.
5 fold.
Aurora thing.
7 fold. Hang on a second. What's going on?
Building with these catching on fire. And that one from
They don't have
Kristen
names.
Do you see something?
Self-ID. They all choose their own name.
adjusted the thermostat, and now all of a sudden,
Eight fold, 9 call.
I think now it's funny because now we've reached a temperature in Austin where at night you want to turn on that heater, but during the day you still turn on that AC. So I think all of our homes are smelling a little burning gas from our heaters kicking on after so long of such a hot summer here.
Doug thinks he's genius.
No, I do not.
Oh wow, look at Hart and Rick both connecting with the boards, optimized with a pair.
a little something, something for everybody.
Maybe I'll just
Rick here,
a bunch of Canton already.
Wow.
stab at these like $5
I see a lot of just check calling from Hart. I've never seen him actually leading into flops, especially when he connects so strong. So I'd like to see maybe that happening in a future hand from him.
Yeah, I mean, the check raise is certainly the line that I would advocate for. You've got 2 overs to the board. Obviously, you got shot straight flush draw. Like, your hand is still just 10 high, though. But, like, all of the cards that your opponents can have that have interacted with this board are going to feel kind of like, uh-oh, what's happening as soon as this pot, like, gets very big. So, yeah, check raising against these 2 opponents would have been my preferred play. He does just make the call, checks once again, and Rick continues betting. Optimize will now get out of the way, and Hart here just content to continue check calling out of position, hoping to improve his hand,
Which
and he will.
he does.
Don't remind me.
Does not improve Rick's hand, and Rick is
There's
on
ever a time
one
that
of the
they were
worst hands that he can ever have.
this year.
So if Hart checks once again, Rick may just have to go for this, but instead Hart's going to let him off the hook,
They're way
and is going to donk lead into
Yeah,
it.
agreed.
way over.
Yeah, same with
It makes me nervous that a lot. I mean, this could be good or bad, but like,
And now Rick, I mean,
lot of the games
obviously
get
it's
worse,
just
like,
like,
in the
cool, I guess
and then
that
you say you could've
5-9
gone.
don't beat a thing, so.
but I said something about. I mean, that one what was that coach that like
get a-
Eli Manning?
A wild hair.
Oh yeah, for like
What's his
go
name?
for it.
Smith or like whoever it was.
I guess trying to represent 2 pair here, but you know, maybe like an A7, A6. That's the only thing I can see him doing if he
guy who
chooses
won
to
it
raise
too.
here is trying to represent something like that.
Well,
let him
he
ride
only
that
has
shit
the
out.
5 in hand, so he would be repping some sort
You
of
don't.
5-8,
So just-
right? 5-8 is reasonable.
Like certain
If he's gonna have 5-4 suited, like 8-5 suited, right? But yeah, it's a pretty narrow range, and when Hart all of a sudden starts cheating at this on the
Like,
end,
let him, like,
it doesn't
let
seem
him.
like a great spot
Okay,
to
thank
necessarily
you.
go for a break.
Looks like we have that new deck coming in.
All right, so we are gonna get a deck change to try to alleviate some of these scamming issues that we've had. I'm gonna step out really quick, use the restroom, so I'll be right back.
It'd probably be like 5 and
So
2,
actually, it
4,
looks like
3, which
Doug's
is
obviously
probably
his aggression pre-flop is kind of gone back down. So what we should be seeing in a 600 game for Doug with his tighter style. I definitely think we'll see Optimize and Jay wins and Raul's percentage going up here.
My wife just made, and so I'm gonna eat that one tomorrow.
Tell her 6 guys are
She
here.
didn't put any in my freaking lunchbox. I made you a yummy.
I've been eating keto
Looks
bread,
like there's-
2 slices of turkey,
Thank you everybody who are joining in tonight.
some
78
cheese that's like almost
eyes
0
on this
carbs.
stream.
And that's been my day.
Welcome, Drummer Boy. Thank you again, Rena, for sticking with us.
No, I haven't been fasting yet.
I thought you mentioned something about this.
I mean, I've been full, like I'm not hungry. But I'm also eating like cardboard. You know what I mean? Now, I think the goal, let me see, what's today's date? 27? So I have the 28th, 29th.
We got some
30th,
exciting
31st,
things
and
here
1st.
at
So I have 5
TCH coming
days.
down
My
the
weighing is
line.
morning of the 1st.
As a company, we are definitely
Yeah, so the game
expanding
plan
and
is if I have to,
improving
I
everything we
have
have.
to
Some
lose
more
another
location
3
opening
pounds
up soon.
organically. So that's me
Working
eating
on just
good,
creating
me
a
getting on the bike
better
for half an hour to an
overall,
hour a night.
more tables, more games,
That will
more
get
tournaments for
me
you guys.
within, let's call it 3 to 5 pounds.
We have a great family here at TCH and
And I
have
think at
partners all over
200
Texas.
pounds, I can sweat
We
out
have
5
Step
pounds.
Foot in one. I highly
Right,
recommend.
and so that last
Always
day,
have plenty of
I'm just
action.
gonna straight fast. Like I'll probably
Even
have
the
1 cup
smallest of
of
things
water
you
per
will
bowl.
find
I probably can't eat
deep. 1, 2, 1, 3,
And I'll probably
going
just have to
on.
wear a sweatsuit. Like the, you know that,
Never goes
I don't
dark
know,
here at
you know
ECH.
the
Any
running
of the
suit?
homes, especially here in Austin, we always have
That'll be
it
my-
going overnight.
My final day.
So when you are heading out to find that
My boss-
late night
my,
4
my
a.m.
old
poker
boss
game,
used to do it.
we
And
will
every time he
definitely have
did
a
it, he
seat
lost
for
like,
you.
he did it
And
for like the
always use Poker
whatever
Atlas
the-
to check on what games were
but I
running
remember every time he did
and
it, he always
trim
looked
out a
noticeably
list
good.
as
A
you
couple
head
weeks
on
later.
over. You can always give us a call here too if you want to get an update, how many seats we have open, likelihood of another game starting. We're always happy
I heard there's a lot of health
to
benefits. Yeah, you're just like,
If I keep my weight
answer
so
any
I
questions you
Yeah.
have. We've got great staff at the
it's
front.
great to like
Mr.
your
Gino's here,
apparently like your
usually
gut
Izzy.
health recovers really fast.
And they
Like,
are always available
you
by
eat
phone if you
really,
have any
really
questions
bad
on
for
like
20
kind of
years,
what
but
an average
you
game
lose
stack
like
looks
a
like,
month.
or
apparently,
you know, potentially if
drastically.
you've got players leaving, if you are on the way, you want to know if you got a seat,
But
come
people
knock it
give
up,
up
get
like
your
fast
talk in.
food, you know what I mean?
Once again, take advantage of
hell yeah,
that
man.
bonus we have going on. Get that $20 bonus for every 100 you buy. Again, that is unlimited. For every 100, you get $20. That can be used towards your hours,
I brought some.
your
I
tournament
worked at it, and there was
seat
so much
fee, as well as we have some snacks and drinks here at Texas Card House Austin.
All right. Everybody interacting with this board a fair bit. Hand number 51. We did get word from Padawan producer Kristen that we have, unfortunately, another issue with this one. As I believe
This used to be replayed.
that Raul's hand is the one that gets messed up here. But as of right now, we see that it looks like he has top pair here with the 4 kicker. He'll bet 90. Optimize here with second pair, gut shot, backdoor clubs. He'll make the call. Been Jaywin here though with bottom 2 pair. He's just gonna make the call here.
I actually like that. I mean, if anybody else is in the hand, they're definitely going to have something very connected to this board, and if their hand doesn't improve on the turn, I think this is when Jay would definitely put in some aggression. I'd like to see that.
Check, check, over to Raul. It shows him as now having top and bottom pair. I think this is perhaps where things have gone off the rails a little bit, as I think Raul doesn't actually have a 4. 3 diamonds here on the end. Optimize his hand certainly just benefits from checking and getting the showdown if at all possible. Jaywin though now definitely in a spot where he can go for value. I think anywhere between 325 and maybe 400 is appropriate, but he is going to go for the over bet of 650 out there. He's going to try to make this look like he has whiffed. See if he can get an ace queen, an ace 10 type holding to pay him off the maximum amount. Raul here in the tank now. Substantial bet. And for a substantial amount of his remaining chip. Raul here with a bluff catcher. Again, I believe that what is incorrect about this hand is that he does not actually have a 4 of diamonds. I think he does probably have something like a 10 to go with that, which will become more apparent here in just a moment.
Yeah.
Certainly top and bottom pair here, or equivalent ace 4, aces up, would be a pretty standard call. I think Raul agonizing over this as he does just have a pair of aces. Does make the call. Optimize will get out of the way here in just a moment after he sort of fully acknowledges and digests the situation. like that was pocket
650?
king there. Not
Thanks for getting
jack,
her.
but didn't get a good look at
It's
it.
been a day.
All I know is that something was messed up with his hand. But yeah, no, it's very likely just the king jack there. Again, I didn't see it very quickly, but I think it's just the king jack.
Fold,
I guess it's possible that it was.
You always gotta be credited.
I don't know. Not going to speculate any further. All that we know is that Raul does muck his hand, and Jaywin chips the pot. And so he clearly did not have Jaywin beat.
Ace 10.
So yeah, unfortunate that we are having these issues with the cards getting read in incorrectly, but such is life. And Carly is going to go ahead and take her lead of us as we have reached the midway point of the show, 8 p.m. Central Time. Jesse going to step into the box.
Yeah.
Deal us a $25
honestly,
PLO.
not even that good of a.
I thought you were gonna fold it. He was gonna call. He loves bluff catching me. I can bet whatever I want. He'll always call.
Hearts missed, so I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So many draws.
That's what he's thinking about me, which is why he was gonna snap.
Yeah, bomb pot.
I had a pretty weak ace, honestly.
Yeah. But then when you tank, I was like, ah, crap. He's gonna fold. You're gonna call. His money always feels a little bit better.
James here in the chat saying table talk
Good,
and the commentator's voices are blending together. Can't understand anything that's being said. Sorry, that is always going to be a challenge. We do like to have the table mics turned up so that you guys can hear what they're talking about, but it is challenging for us
It was like
as
such a like
commentators
such
to
a
always be able to hear them and
Very good.
sort of step out of the way at the right time, getting all of
That's what I'm
those
saying. Yeah,
audio channels to mix appropriately, not just for you, but for us. It's a struggle. So if you want to apologize for that, we always do appreciate your feedback, but try to stay out of the player's way when they're having a conversation if I can.
I like that. It's a duck bet.
Once again, $25 PLO bomb pot underway here. Optimize, flopping a full house on top. And tens and deuces on top. He'll go ahead and take a stab at this for pot size wager. Okay, man. Overpair to the board on top. Trips with the ace kicker on bottom.
J call.
No respect. No. You're a non-believer. Just like me.
So Jaywin makes the call. Raul's in there as well. Has the same full house as Optimize. There we go. Queen now on the turn on top. Checky, checky. Over to Raul. May see this as an opportunity to put a sizable wager out there. When you flop a full house in a double board bomb pot, you very frequently will feel like you just sort of block all of the other possibilities and that board is just pretty much yours. Anytime you see an overcard to the board peel off, it does sort of diminish the strength of your hand, but Raul bets 200 here, just a little tickle of a wager, and Optimize is going to go for the check raise now. And Jaywin's like, oh my god, this sucks. Having the naked deuce on bottom and really only an improved, only way to improve on top being a king.
not yet.
Going to be a way for him to just get out of there. Raul jams it in,
Oh my
Optimize
God,
makes
that's
the call, and here we go.
Vote on
It is
top.
the king on the end,
By 10.
and my god, Jaywin would have scooped this.
Oh, Scoopy, Scoopy
Because-
Doug.
10 to jack.
Yeah, you can hear Jaywin lamenting.
No!
He would have scooped this.
No!
King, king.
The jack kicker for Raul is actually
King,
going
two
to
ace.
play, so Raul is going to quarter Optimize here.
Scoopy, Scoopy.
Jaywin would have scooped the whole damn thing.
King, king, 2 ace.
The king, king box. King out.
gonna call the 200.
You have pocket
The
kings?
frustration and optimize.
king
He
two
just
eights.
he's surprised to
If he didn't raise, oh man, if he didn't
Right
raise,
here.
you're about.
golly.
I mean, it's going all in. I'm not folding.
I was seriously just gonna win this hand and leave.
Yeah. But if I didn't raise,
I was
he
gonna
call.
I was gonna raise
Yeah,
on
I
the
mean,
on the flop.
Book it.
How much is
Well,
this?
efficient, man.
listen to shout it out.
I'm a fan.
395.
400.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a full house, flopped full house like that, it's optimized. You're like
Yeah, I get a quarter of the main.
just winning this board, and then you guys can do whatever on the other one. And then when you realize that no, you're actually getting half of that board, and then you really don't have very much on the other one. Pretty tough.
Just lose too much.
All right, Skullbone,
Feels like
taking
an
off.
8-8.
Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, man. We'll see you next time.
That 200 was such a great price. Damn, Jesse. I should have just trusted you.
Milky, so milky.
I run so fucking
I
hot
was
in
like,
my
he
pocket.
just,
I should have
he
just
just hit that flush.
like with my full range. The gut shot call.
You can hear Jay
Would have been a spot.
reeling over the fact he realized he would have scooped that.
I would have given you $50, taken you out to dinner, we can call it a
I
night.
was
You don't
kicking
have
up
to work
there
anymore.
to being our second and big winning so far.
I trust this shit.
Don't be sorry. At least I got a quarter.
Did I miss something on the bottom? How did you? You had a 10. Was that not good enough? Oh, he also had. Oh, Jack 10. Jack 10. Hard to scoop on pots? Yeah, good one.
You gotta have faith.
All right, so the
You know what
aftermath
it
of that
I didn't
hand
look up.
is
If I knew-
over
if I
and behind us
realized that
as
Justin was dealing, I would've just-
Jesse doing God's work in the box, chopping up that pot. Getting
You got a made hand? Absolutely not.
Squeeze.
everybody paid. Okay, so here we go.
He's an out.
$25
Jesse.
This player-
straddle
Do
is
that thing
on.
you do.
Rick limps, optimize limps in. We've just got a limped pot here. Why
Beware,
not?
guys.
They call this
Everyone has a dealer.
Texas heads up, right?
I think
I like
that's
to check
right.
it, too.
Yeah, limped pot or otherwise, you get a 5-way action or whatever. That is indeed Texas heads up. Okay, queen high board here. Couple of hearts. Doug will bet top pair, no kicker. Rick has a superior kicker. He will make the call. I believe everybody else is just going to get out of the way. Although Jay win here with a couple of 7s. I mean, yeah, he needs some of his opponent's continues, so I guess he will stick around.
That picks up that backdoor open-ended straight draw with his top pair.
And Hart was in there with the gut shot and backdoor Hart, so yeah, he's got a reasonable hand to continue with, given the price. Doug here, though, with all of these players calling, I'm a little bit surprised that he is going to go for this, but he is going to bet just a shade over the pot.
I actually, myself, I would have actually taken the same one as Doug. I actually like this because here's the thing. When you turn open-ended, you're very unlikely not going to improve by the river unless it's a flush card. And anybody else who has something, you'll definitely find out by putting that pot size bet in.
Okay. The counter argument to that, of course, is that you have top pair no kicker, and there are made hands and draws that are very likely to continue. And I mean, he gets it through. Like, he gets the queen 9 to fold, which is obviously the upside to betting very large here. And so, if, I mean, I suppose if you're going to bet, the big size is the appropriate way to go about it, because all of the draws get put under maximum pressure. Just having a naked flush draw here is just going to be like, okay, I guess I just have to fold because this is a big bet. But
And anybody else who comes along, you're going to assume that obviously that they don't have anything that they can raise with, so you're going to still get an ace-queen to call, possibly a king-queen that picked up the backdoor club draw. But for me, you're still having the chance to improve your own hand or being able to bluff when both of the other flush draws miss, and you're still got top pair.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's got a different approach to it. Certainly the way that Doug played that and the way that you would advocate for Got the job done. In my mind, perhaps a little bit unorthodox when you have a hand like top here no kicker that benefits usually a lot from just getting to showdown and keeping the pot small. And putting in a big bet obviously does not keep the pot small, so that's sort of just the counterintuitive aspect of that one. But here we are, onwards and upwards, as we've got a 3-bet pot free. Optimize still best after the turn. Check, check on the flop. Optimize here with no club in hand. I presume is going to go for a check and look to call to future streets, but he could go for protection. No, he's already checked, and it is on J-Win. He's going to go for a delayed C-bet here.
You seeing the fight that's out there?
Ace king of diamonds, 50.
Yeah. He's fighting
Big it.
Jake Paul. You know who Jake Paul is? He's like this, he's like this Rodriguez.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, yeah.
But he's
The
like
only thing, if he flats here, I mean, he's got to put him exactly on ace king and ace queen. If optimized just to continue to call this hand, which he gives it up. But the only thing that you should be doing if you're going to continue with an optimized hand is putting him exactly on that hand.
you know what Ben Askren?
King, ace, queen, ace, jack. Yeah, mostly like
queen,
king, queen, king,
definitely.
jack. Those are going to see that flop
He's good.
most of the time just because there's going to be 2 overs and some sort of gut shot interaction. So yeah, those are going to see that a lot. But there, yeah, J1 certainly isn't capped when the 3rd club comes
Oh, no,
check back. Has ace high clubs.
Every time I'm curious.
So yeah, a reasonable spot to let go of
The underdog, but
with the 6s.
probably gonna pass the mark.
Also a very reasonable spot, I think, to check call 1 street. See what develops on the river, but not an easy spot to navigate. And being out of position with a small to middling pair is always going to be one of the toughest things to play, toughest scenarios to play in this game.
Just got to wait for the graphics to catch up here. But it does look like Rick has 9s and Jim has 7s here, if they're correct. I do see 80 out in front of both players, so we'll just wait for the action to catch up.
Yeah, Rick opened to 80, Jay went call, is my understanding of the action.
The big fights. Yeah, the big ones.
Yeah, maybe that's like part of it too. Maybe like the frequency of it just became so often.
To be honest, there's not that many, like I think a lot, for every, like,
All right, looks like we are ready to continue. Jesse is scooping the chips into the middle.
or maybe, I don't know.
Looks like
I don't
what,
know
a heart may be involved? No, yes he does. He does have cards. And if that is to be believed, he's got a rag ace offsuit. He'll play this one from the bucket.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think those are right.
Yeah, it looks like we just had some technical difficulty on the action tracking side here, but Rick is going to be first to act. And if that flop was correct, we had, shit, now I don't even remember what was out there, but there we go, queen high board, okay. Couple of 5s out there, so a lot of correction to be made here. With 255 in the middle, Rick here is going to bet 140. Brain Freeze asking lots of empty seats. Yeah, we are playing relatively short-handed here tonight, just 6-handed at the moment. J-Win will make the call as there's just 1 overcard to the 7s. And the diamonds will make that 2 overcards for both of these players. You definitely see Rick slowing down here, but he's also shown a propensity to just sort of keep his foot on the gas. And that looks like foot on gas is how he... I mean, this is the other approach to playing out of position is just like never slow down. Just like as long as I'm betting, you're the one who has to make the decisions. So like, yeah, I've got 9s, effective 3rd pair. Like this isn't great for me, but I'll just keep betting and hope that you fold. Or put money in with a worse hand, which is what seems to be playing out here. As Jaywin makes the call. King of Diamonds now on the end, and this has really gotten pretty connecty.
I mean, if I was Rick, I mean, what do you think Jaywin's calling with that King of Diamonds? If I was Rick, that's exactly what I would have put him on, connecting more with. So I'm surprised to see him continuing with the triple barrel. But it
Jaywin,
gets it through.
yeah, Jaywin was wearing his sheriff's badge there for a minute, but at this point, things have just gotten far too out of hand. With Rick not slowing down, given the fact that there's like trips, and straights, and flushes, like plenty of things out there to be afraid of. If you did just have something like a queen jack type of hand, you're just not going to be betting 3 streets. So Jaywin going to give him credit for a big hand, and in fact it was superior to his.
I thought he was
Just
going to be compliant.
orthodox play there.
Almost like Rick was leveling without knowing he had the best hand.
Yeah, exactly. One of those things too, where like, imagine if that river was just like.
All right.
Hey!
Now we got a game.
We haven't played. Oh, Jaywin just expressing now we got a game about something that I missed while I was rambling.
Welcome to the chat, Kenneth.
Yeah, how's it going? Welcome to the stream.
And Mr. Mark. Welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I don't know.
What are we doing?
Waiting for something at the table.
I'm assuming the queen is no good. I can't have anything better than this here, Barrett.
I don't know. I'll say maybe since you're playing with me.
Sounds like Rick and Jaywin are analyzing that hand, going over what they thought the other player
Pretty
had.
powerful. Bet. And then you got the whole marijuana reference in the back. Oh, that's
The whole marijuana reference, the 420 bet. Gotta love that one.
that's what I do.
It is really funny how like anytime a bet somewhere around $400 is appropriate, you just tack that 20 in there. Put 420 out.
I'm a proper guy.
All right, Optimize, I believe, has raised to 275.
OMG.
Perhaps to a full 100.
What's the race?
We'll find out here momentarily. Is indeed the full 100. Oh yeah, forgot about football for a moment as Raul contemplates his life with King 3 offsuit. Okay, once again, King 3 is not what Raul has. My goodness, we are struggle busing here tonight. All right, looks like Tampa Bay up 10-3 for any of you guys trying to avoid paying attention to the score. Sorry, just spoiled it. Last week, or on Monday, someone was like, thanks for spoiling the score. Now I have to turn off the stream. I was like, wait, what? Like, seriously?
Wait, plus
Does anybody not just like pay attention to the game on their phone?
Hey, when they're zoned in and focused on TCH Live, can't hate on that. They're giving us their full attention.
Prioritize. All right, Raul here raising to 350. This makes me believe he's got something like
Wow.
ace, king, pocket king.
It's like an effective all-in from Optimize, putting that pressure back on Raul.
Well, it's not pocket king. And honestly, ace, king probably would have already been like, yeah, I guess we're going with this. So maybe it's just a king, queen. But yeah, Optimize just gonna put him to the test when you got jacks. All right, Raul is gonna make the call, so maybe it is ace king.
Ace King.
Like paradise.
You want to go one time?
Textbook.
One time or
There we
two
go.
times?
Ace king of diamonds. Wow, thought about it that long with ace king suited.
One time.
Surprised with Raul. Oh, wow, just peels off the jack right away.
Oh, never mind.
10 ball.
10 and a 10 only for Raul. It's not to be.
There's only one. There's only three right ways to play pocket jacks. You did one of them.
Pocket
Just
J
jam
wins
your
here.
shit and
Gonna
pray.
job
Play
done
jacks.
for Optimize. He will stack Raul.
Optimize is
Three
the
right ways to play
largest
jacks. You hit 'em all.
loser for so far tonight, so this will definitely help him pad that and get him back to getting back to his winnings.
You found out, you figured
Yeah,
out.
unstuck for sure after that hand. We'll get that pulled up in a moment.
Maybe I'll be back in a bit.
Yeah,
Exactly
GG.
where
Yeah,
that
see you guys. Good luck.
leaves him.
Oh, it looks like Earl might have left the game.
Love it.
Looks like good luck, guys. So we'll see if Earl joins back here. Maybe. All right. Heard word he does rejoin us, so we will be five-handed for just a
39
little bit.
hands in the first like hour or so. It's really fast.
Looking at the V-pips there, everybody over 30%. My goodness. Even Doug, well above the Doug line and the Lottie line.
Stare at the board for a while.
Please. I've been the fastest one here, so I think you guys are joking. Got it.
75.
I think you
Jay win
found a
on
soft.
AJ. Here, can I raise this up?
I don't think he liked that.
Two calls.
You know what? I'm gonna
Rick
take my time
will
with every
defend
decision.
his
hopefully.
with sixes.
That's fine. Get him to come over.
Shortage
give him
of
my minute.
sixes in the deck, but
You might as- I mean, what I'm saying is, you might as well
Ace
start.
Jack does not connect, so Rick is still back. The quick little cheeky donk lead for $25. Jwin will be like, well, I got 2 overcards, so I'll peel one off. Now Rick will bet a full $100. Curious.
I don't see color.
Not a good card for him. Continue building the pot. Jwin will once again make the call. 5 of diamonds on the end. Changes nothing. Does Rick bet again?
Go with his track record. He should. I wouldn't in this spot, but I'm not at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jwin here would be happy to just sort of check back and show down the ace high, thinking that that is potentially good. But that 5 of diamonds actually interacting with this board somewhat. Interacting with the flop somewhat in terms of like if Rick was just sort of betting like an ace 3 or a 3-6. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of hands that would just sort of start donking at this. But as it stands, Rick checks the river after betting flop and turn, and now Jwin just takes a stab at this for 300, and
They feel like they've got some sort of like,
Rick just let this.
whatever, but
We've seen some very strange hands play out here tonight.
it's fine. No, I just like to watch it.
Out of the norm lines.
I mean, he does have the 6 of diamonds and 2 6. I mean, it's, yeah, there he goes. It's a call.
Let's go, Rick. Donk, donk, check call, hero. Put on your cape and drag the pot, buddy. Well played, Rick.
The 25, the key factor in this hand.
Yeah, why not? So what? Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Welcome, Jedi Master Ted, into the chat. Good evening.
So with that, Jwin will move down just a bit over 1.5K. Doug stuck about 1K as well. Everybody else up. Raul, of course, has left the building momentarily. So will not populate that,
I guess even like fantasy game,
that screen for us,
and like
at
I
least
find
in
myself
the meantime.
like rooting for this stupid shit. Like, oh, I need the kicker. I'm Baltimore to do this or something, and like
Take a look here at Thursday night foosball. It's like a defensive game here for the most part. Still 10-3.
We've got some hands here. Got a raise from Jwin. 375, wow. I want to see what Doug does here with Ace King. Putting in the raise, I definitely think Doug is the type of player, he's not afraid to just take it down and not get callers to come along with his Ace King here. And with that, let's see.
Yeah, nice 4-bet here from Doug. Hurt is easily let off the hook and back over to Jwin here. He's getting a reasonable price, but Ace Jack off just really does not play well
Out
out
of
of
position.
position.
Against
Yeah, in a
Doug, yeah.
4-bet pot, like ace jack
Bottom
sucks.
range 4-bet.
Yes, your opponent just might have like kings and queens exactly, and like you can always just swap a pair of aces and put them in the basement. But like, ugh, there's no way you want to contest that. Your opponent's hand range is going to include a lot of ace king and ace queen. So yeah, best to just let that one go. And it kind of sucks, but at the same time, ace jack is just a hand that you're happy to raise with and win if possible, and just let go of. You get a re-raise.
Let's straddle.
Doug, you're right back on the pony too. We jumped
With
a
his
couple of
straddle.
tens.
Yep.
950.
And we got Rick. I love this. With this guy. Looks like, is that 65 coming out?
250. Okay, I
Wow.
guess
We're gonna have some action here with this.
Yeah, this will be very similar to last one, although Doug may choose to play the tens
I
as
think he's
just
gonna
a
flat here. Yeah. Wow.
No, he's just going to fold it.
Well, that's actually a massive raise though from Optimize, a 350 raise. Like I actually don't hate Doug's fold here if he makes it. It's just such a massive raise from Optimize.
Oh, really? Hey, Jay, I haven't beat that.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason, of
You can
course,
see he's hating this.
We're flipping.
Oh,
yeah, he shows the tens to Jaywin, like, look at what I'm folding.
Yep.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to play to my button. My wife wants to.
And yeah, so Optimize choosing that size because he's in the small blind, right? Like,
Yep.
you're always going to want to size up when you're in the small blind because you would much rather just win there. Like, Ace King is a good hand, but playing out of position for the rest of the hand
Let's get more hands.
just sucks.
I
Let's
ju- I
say
s-
you
I
get
still
called and it
think-
comes 9 high. Like, what are you
I
going to do?
still think I still think that was still just such a massive raise. I mean, 285, 300 may have been my cap for a raiser. It still actually would have definitely gotten the job done, or just one caller, which is definitely playable heads up with Ace King, because you're gonna connect with the board so much, and you're gonna definitely know where your opponent's at, and you're not gonna bloat the pot if you have to lead again with Ace King, say on a 10 high board if you connect with overs and a gutter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. There's certainly merits to playing Ace King heads up against your opponent as if possible. But again, the small blind nature of it makes it just so much more valuable.
Oh yeah, that did happen. That happened multiple times in the past year. Yeah.
I thought it was a good.
That was
player.
like, yeah, that's happened
Definitely
multiple
could have
times.
gone for a little bit smaller as well. All right, 8 of spades
I
on
got
the
to a
turn.
big
We'll
pot.
pair the
And
board.
then my watch went off.
Art
Like,
here
after
still
my
working
hand,
with
it
the
was
bottom
like,
pair,
everything
and
was
Rick here just on
Like, it was like it
a
just
high
spoke out.
table. But Hart bet the flop, then checked the turn, so Rick is
Lately,
going to
I
try to
don't play
take
with my
over,
watch
and
on,
he
and
does.
really, like I said, like T-Sage doesn't care. But
Rick putting on a
Yeah, like
clinic
Apple
here,
Watch
how to
thing.
just put your foot
It
down
detects
and everybody
abnormal heart
bows
rate.
over, or
So, like,
I don't know, bows
I had to
over
stop
is
playing
not
my
really a
watch
thing.
'cause-
That was
Bows down, bends over, gets out of the way. I don't even know. Words are hard.
yeah. Roll over sounds good. Steam
Roll
roll,
over.
steam roll.
That's what I would
Yeah,
go
you can be like real excited and like I can
Words
have
are
aces
hard,
and-
and
I just realized that was your handle after
I can have
you were
aces.
combining a lot of words last night. I don't know what new names popping up
Because
in our
it's probably
UC7
leaning,
game.
you know, one end more than the other.
I was the sheriff for a little while there, which didn't really work out for me too well. It worked out a couple of times, but towards the end, everybody just seemed to have it. All right, raise to 75. Jaywin here getting a little frisky on the button. Get looked up in 2 spots. Rick will defend slash whatever the hell he's doing in there from the hijack with 9-4 suited. He's limp calling from this position.
3-ways check too. I do like Jaywin putting this out because anybody else who had connected with the board, you would have found out already. And Doug's calling with his flush draw.
Yeah, definitely a spot that Jaywin is not going to bet very frequently. on the turn. So Doug is just going to take the initiative and lead at this. I actually really like this. When the second card on the on the board pairs, it is much, much, much better for the out of position player. Doug here is sort of correctly recognizing this and using what I would say is very close to a good size. You can usually even go smaller because it's just so strong, and your opponent just almost never has a king. And Doug is going to get away with this one. He will win with just 10 high. So really well played there by Doug. And that's one of the few times that the donk lead is advised. You know, like you'll get no complaints from me. In fact, I will, you know, go give you the old high five. Card on the pair. God, words are so hard. Second card on the board pairs because the position player really doesn't have very many of them.
He is all Apple products.
I mean, they certainly can. Like, I mean, if it checks to Jay Win and he has King Queen, he can bet into
Even my
opponent.
Windows PC is
But-
on an Apple computer.
A lot of his King Queen checks.
Parallel.
Shouldn't have too many when he does flop. Anyways, we're on to the next hand. Number 62 coming at you.
But Google.
Jay Win will open pot.
I don't use
Jack
any
nine.
Google products.
Oh, put. You don't Google
what?
search?
No, I use DuckDuckGo.
Looks like he's just going to take it down. Oh, no. I'd like to see a raise here, which looks like it's coming out.
Another large sizing here. Optimized, not interested in playing out of position against his neighbors.
Pretty good. Google Fiber, I guess I use.
I would use it if they were in my area. YouTube TV is really good. They stopped increasing the price.
Last chance to get my chips, guys.
Oh,
With their earnings there, Doug down just about 250.
tried getting your chips.
Well, help us
Jay
out.
Win
Put him in.
stuck
Turn.
We'll see what
that
happens.
amount plus
Do a
I
big.
just lost 20 bucks.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I know. Just realized I had a...
Hopefully Heart's not leaving. Maybe he's just coloring up. We shall see. All right, we have officially heard that Hart will be actually leaving us here. Raul's coming back in, so we will stay five-handed. But love the fact that Raul will be joining back with us.
Okay, Raul's stats, I guess, are going to reset. So, yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. All right, so Doug here going to get out of the way as we see a squeeze here from Jay Win to 450 after the original open 275 and a call. Optimize here. We're going to get punished for not 3-betting his hand
I have a
originally.
pair.
And he will just go for the limp or the flat and
Something like that.
fold. Do you want to take this down with Snowman?
Pleasure playing with you guys.
Yeah. Bye, Hart. Good seeing you, man.
I think we're going to get snow this winter here.
I think we will. I don't know if we'll get anything quite as extreme as a couple of winters ago. You missed Snowmageddon here,
I did.
but I'm sure you've
You
heard
gonna
of
join
it.
us?
This
the
last
other
one, though,
10,
you know, there was
25
some
days?
deep
On
freeze
Wednesdays and
warnings
Thursdays?
over a couple days, but it wasn't that
Yeah,
bad.
like,
I thought it was pretty funny. My kids had a couple of snow or winter days that they didn't go. I was like, it's only 23 degrees. They can go to school. You know?
Yeah,
What was
But,
it? All of us walked, what, 7 miles in the snow, right?
that's right. Uphills both
Oh,
ways.
Hart. Actually, can I have your res, please?
But yeah, the icing on the road here is a very unique experience. So I grew up in the mountains in Colorado. Like driving in snow, driving in ice, like all
Here's
that
200.
shit
Give me 200 res.
was just nature. Like,
Right.
that was just what it was. But we have zero humidity, or very close to zero humidity up there. Then you here in Austin, where like the water just freezes right out of the air onto every surface, and like I can't really explain what it is about it, but I mean,
It doesn't
you
handle the
just,
same
you
way.
just
Yeah.
have no traction. I
Right.
mean, it doesn't look like there's anything on the road, and it's just completely frozen over. And people have no idea how to drive in that sort of conditions. And
None
even
of us
for
have,
me, it was
yeah,
like,
the right tires. I mean, we're always prepared when we, live in a four-season area that here just comes out of nowhere. And Little slip and slide. Texas Drive.
Should put some
Yeah,
sense.
I've seen some pretty wild shit happening out there.
Put a couple quarters out.
Heads up action. Both
Oh,
have.
good.
It's like a
Somebody's
king. Both weak
coming back
kickers.
for you guys.
Rashad Bateman and Chad Otten putting up goose eggs for me here in the first half. Not great.
I actually like the choice of where Raul is coming back in. Seat selection. This will definitely change the dynamic of the game a little bit.
Doug, you're going to take this one down with the slightly superior kicker.
We're able to play some like crazy.
I'm actually playing against Doug this week in our fantasy football league. And yeah, he will be pleased to see a couple of goose eggs from my players at this point.
Oh, Rollo's back. You need more room?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't. We can make it a little.
Well, there's still a lot of football left to be played, so you never know what could happen. But here we are with the first half coming to a close, and between 4 players, I've mustered a measly 13.2 points.
Clock.
All right, so we'll get Raul and his stack entered into the system. As Ashley mentioned, coming in over in the 3 seat, so a little bit overloaded on that side of the table.
Thank you, Captain. Safe travels. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Yep, we'll see you later, Captain Under Pairs. Take care.
I fault.
All right, check fold here from Doug. Optimize just a C-bet. Take that one down. All right, looks like Raul coming in for 1730. All right.
The winner of the hand gets to tell the other players who to vote for the next 4 years.
How are you gonna enforce that?
All right, optimize under the gun. Not going to play the Jack-9, understandably.
Hover over.
Jay win here, though, a couple of kings on the button.
5-8-75.
Looks like 100. About 75.
Doug, suited wheel ace here. A lot of times you'll see this 3-bet, but he's just going to call this one out of position. Play it from the small blind. He flops a gut shot backdoor diamond. Not the kind of flop you want to see when your opponent is in the big blind or the straddle, but from the small blind, this is not that scary of a board for Jaywin, but he does still check it back. Gives Doug an opportunity to build the pot himself. Of course, Jaywin playing in position here. Hopefully,
I do like Doug's sizing for this. If he's going to tell the story at the right time. Doug actually can feel like he may have the best hand here. Double paired board. Few bets. I don't see him seeing Jaywin's hand because I do see if Doug leads here, I do see Jaywin obviously raising.
don't think Jaywin can raise.
Really?
No, I mean with the double paired board out there, he has a bluff catcher, right? Like Doug is either betting a 5 or a 6, which is a made full house,
And the back, I guess, yeah. The
or is somehow bluffing, and Doug is indeed bluffing. So he'll turn over the ace, and that is sort of just a curious size here. Like if you're Doug, you actually have a decent hand at showdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 pair with the ace high kicker, and if you're going to try to get your opponent to fold off of a chop, then you're going to need to size up.
right.
And so a bet of 300 there is
Did I lost?
Looking like for
3/4 pot. Like
Yeah.
you're just not going to get a for that amount, most likely.
Well, I'm
And if he did have a 5 or 6, he actually would have
I
probably
gave him a look because I
even
was asking
bet
if I was-
smaller than that. To get the ace high to call, guaranteed to call.
They do a replay of the stream, and every time Doug loses a pot, you see just Blake like.
Well,
I don't know.
you have a really
Keep
big
zooming
hand, like a
in.
5 or a 6 there. You bet big to polarize
Less money for burn.
so that you can bluff, right? Like, let's say that, you know, like ace high there is usually just, you know, from a traditional standpoint, not a hand that you turn into a bluff because it's got so much showdown value of itself. But if you had just like a jack high or a queen high type holding there somehow, then you just like 1.5x overbet, and like your opponent's going to have to probably fold an ace, which is really good for you.
Right.
And so then you do the same thing with your 5s and your 6s, because if they're going to hero call you with kings and these other sorts of hands, then you can get max value in those scenarios. But the in-between size or the even smaller bet, I don't think really accomplishes much. Unless you are, like, if you are going to try to milk somebody, you know, you've got a 6 or whatever, you just put 150 out there and try to get paid all the time. Anyways, here we are, heads up on a turn.
I'll show you the take later.
Optimize is going to turn
But it involves
pair.
raising on the river.
And yeah, but again, I like this, and he's going to go for this tiny little $20 bet, one nickel at a time.
Like,
And Rick is
top
going to
three
put the money in,
sixes.
given that he is drawing to a
Felt
wheel.
so strong about
Mimic call, I like that.
Overcard.
towels or
Oh, well, how does Optimize not bet $10?
probably
Bet
hand
$10.
experience with the play.
Yeah.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Does the show it down after Rick checks it to him, right? And he'll win the third three.
With math.
Yeah. It's like an interesting thing.
Raul, his behavior tonight, I mean, he's just very closed off and shut down. I usually see him being a little bit more talkative at the table.
Could I get
You
7?
talking about Raul?
Yeah.
And I like
Yeah,
pretty
I
much
mean, he
just-
got belted earlier, and I don't know, I've seen him be fairly quiet as well. So maybe just a matter of,
He's a little bit more aware of the game, though. I don't see him paying attention a lot. He's been kind of more just studying his own chip stack, and I'd like to see him kind of maybe engage a little bit more with the players. It could help him out, especially with Jaywin. I know Jaywin likes to interact with players a lot, and Jaywin definitely can talk a player out of a lot with his mannerisms at the table.
he's going to squeeze here with the king 8 off from the straddle. Raul is going to defend his open from the small blind, so he is playing this one out of position with 5 high.
Oh,
Flops
just
a flush, though.
destroys.
Wow. Jaywin here with an overcard diamond, though. Could get bailed out if another diamond peels off. And
125, wow.
hey, sometimes you just got to tickle it, you know? It's 150, but yes, small size here. Raul should go for the check raise, though. See if he does. Check call is an option, but I think that's a mistake. You want to get all the money in, and you want to get all the money in before the board texture changes. And if you check raise here and your opponent has like a good ace, like they're just not going to fold. Like
Right.
they just can't fold. And by the time they call your flop bet and you get to a turn, the stack pot ratio is going to be right where you want it, right about 1. And you can rip it in, and you can do that with your bluffs, with your value, and your opponent is just going to be in this like handcuffed situation.
I don't know that I like the mini click here, though. It's very, very nutty.
Yeah, I mean, he's setting up the turn jam.
Yeah.
So your bet sizes always have to be sort of thinking about future streets.
Of course.
So I think the bet size is very natural. He could have gone slightly larger, right? Like now he has a full pot size bet here,
Right.
to go all in on the turn. Whereas if he makes it, 400 or 425 or something, then it's maybe 3/4 pot size jam, which does make a little bit.
I
more
actually,
sense.
I personally, I like a 3/4 pot size jam, especially just get more dead money in there when you have the best hand.
I agree. I would have gone a little bit larger than the min click myself, but to that point, not much. As it stands, it looks like Raul is lining up something other than an all-in bet. and whatever it was going to be like 500 J. Just lets it go without making him actually put the wager out there. I guess sort of recognizing what we're doing. So hand number 69 will be next. We look at the VPIPs here. Once again, everybody, including Doug, well over the Doug line. Raul down there at 25%, played one of the 4 hands he's seen since coming back.
I'll give you $25 back tomorrow if you're debate over rally with me.
Got a little fruit fly or some shit buzzing around my head. No, I did not get it. But if it comes back, I'm going to take another
If he
swing
comes,
at him.
he'll be full MAGA gear, head to toe.
I'll run.
Right, Rick here putting out the $25 straddle as the
Squirrel hunt. Everyone's
camera
chasing him.
goes full drunk mode.
Did you reach that status last night?
I did
at
not.
the
I did not
Deuce
fade out. No, no. It was a fantastic day of Scotch, whiskey, bourbon, and Deuce
Raul, you've
seven,
been playing a lot?
but did not brown out or anything.
Mike was definitely feeling. He was here till the wee hours of the morning, which was a great choice for him. He was playing three-headed 1-2 afterwards and having a blast over there.
Okay.
We have some of the best games.
Get him into your game, Jay.
Mike is a man who knows how to party. That's for sure. What a guy.
We'll talk about that offline.
He's an official Texas cowboy, right?
Mike?
Never folded with this guy.
I don't know. I mean, you know,
No.
he's got the Wranglers, the starched jeans, starched shirt. Like it.
Yeah.
I love meeting all the new characters here at TCH Austin.
Mike is one of those characters for sure.
I'd toss
Optimize
him.
here, raising under
201.
the gun. J-Win falls on the button with the 64 suited, one of his pet hands. And he whiffs this just about as hard as he can.
I don't know. I think it's correct because I remember good, but yeah.
Got a 65 here.
I remember it being
And J-Win seemingly not just done with his hand instantly. I do suspect, oh my goodness, he can't help himself. He's like, I've got the 6-4, I have to try to win. And he will.
No.
And
Let's go.
How do you know I don't have ace 4?
I always think it's so much fun to watch people play their pet hands and then just like get themselves into the most ridiculous scenario. 'Cause it's like, why are you here? Oh, because you're playing that specific hand and trying to win with it. You know?
I mean, if another spade came out, would you be happy?
You think I folded? No.
All right then. Yeah. How do you do? That's probably a good fold. Oh, it's not very good enough. Like king 4 hearts.
Me?
No, for me. King 4 hearts. Like, would that have been enough?
You've never folded king 4 cards. I don't think that's good.
King 4
So
hearts.
have you found a good Korean barbecue place that you like here in Austin?
non-existent, sir.
Well, I don't know if that's true.
I-
You may not have found it yet.
I could have
but,
slow played aces.
You know, we have tried. So there's a chain restaurant out here called Honey Pig in Vegas. That is one to avoid. So I will avoid the one here.
Okay. Okay.
I think there's another one called Charmed, but nothing compares to Texas or LA Korean barbecue.
Okay. I would imagine that is true. Similarly to like going to California and trying to find like good Texas barbecue or something like that, you would just be sort of disappointed most of the time. But from what I understand, there are some good Korean barbecue places. So I live over in the like North Campus area, and my neighbor has told me about a place that's over there. I can't remember the name of it, but she says it's very good. It's just like off of I-35 at maybe 45th, somewhere around there. In that ballpark, or in that neighborhood. So
Things I'll never get used to. I got a stock
I can't remember the name of it. I'll pass that on to you. Check that out. See if that tickles your fancy. Other than that, I have been to what is it, K-pop. Have you heard
The one
of
by
that?
H Mart.
Terrible.
Maybe.
So bad at
That's
the game.
Yeah,
So
Yep.
bad.
that place is pretty good. I mean, it's not like your standard like Korean barbecue place, but good Korean food. I
What
think.
happened?
Oh, River Monster.
I expect to find when I venture to Houston or Dallas. I think.
I don't know.
I
That's right, Cody. No, there was
Yeah,
a race.
not too far from PCH Dallas is a little Korean barbecue place that I love.
Yeah.
And they've got, you
Pokercoaching.com.
get like a 2-piece plate or whatever.
Page
with,
3 of the
uh,
menu,
chicken,
man. When in
fresh
doubt,
onions,
just bet.
Raise. When in doubt, raise.
It's just
Raise an uncapped range.
like that place is great.
I think you know what that means.
Every time I go up there for a tournament or something, like I'm always
That's your
going
spot,
That's my
yeah.
spot. Like 5-6 minute
That sounds
drive
pretty
from
smart.
the card room.
Add some graphics to it. I can
so
make it
good.
so
Like
15
polarized.
bucks.
I've been watching
Give me all the big
guy, this poker blogger.
All right, Doug here on the suited jack who
Free bet.
will call small
Gotta
blind.
balance the
Jay Wynn
polarization.
squeeze
Free
from
Which clearly.
make it about
Jay was
350.
I think I've gotten 10s in
That's
the
on
big
one
blind
end
like
of
3
it.
times today. I'm not complaining. Keep giving it to me. I don't mind taking out. I don't mind not seeing a flop with 10s.
A familiar sound.
Telling you guys.
Win
Jesse's
the
here,
pass.
better
Same
run.
with Ace King, honestly.
Either?
You raise
Oh,
3,
totally.
like
Play
4 bet
long.
somebody or 3 bet or whatever, and everybody folds.
I'm down.
Speaking Doug's language, no.
My this. Where was the button?
Round and round.
Okay.
You're so big.
Looking at the earnings there, Rick had a good night.
In a while, what happened, man?
I'm surprised to see Doug's still so high.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of forced into it, right? Like,
Well, short-handed, of course.
He won't talk about
yeah,
why,
although,
but
like,
he'll talk about it.
even if we look at it,
I want to be
ROI,
respectful to where I'm
we
playing.
have a pretty reasonable number there as
Jeez,
well.
y'all are
Largely
fucking
padded by the first hour or so,
Right.
four-handed, where he was just opening a lot of hands because he was just going to be in position a lot.
I mean,
Against
he's 6.5 months. 6.5 months.
just opening your
He's
button
so
in
fucking
5
amazing. I love being
25,
that.
like just over
You
and
know?
over.
It's like
Standard play. So that pumped his
how
rookie numbers
Blake
up
must
a little
feel,
bit.
except without the stress of having 3 additional children.
Impression frequency with Raul at 100%.
Yo, like,
And Rick at 60. Let's go, Rick. He has
what would be really
shown
funny is
that
if y'all
aggression.
cousins and like every family
Regular.
reunion is like 20 kids running around.
And I presume he will
I like
do
being a
so.
dad, man. My wife is so much better at it.
Oh,
than
I
am.
lied. That won't increase the aggression frequency. It'll blink onto the gun. Ooh, Jay went here playing the Woody. 254. Mr. Pratt would be proud. Jay Wynn does flop the best hand here. For whatever reason, we're living in the past in terms of the equity on the screen as it shows Rick far
Oh my
out
god, now you bet?
in the lead. Now
You
it
got 3
has
of
caught
those?
up. Shows us what we all know to be true, that it's Jay Wynn is well ahead here. Flying creature is attacking Ashley. All right, check call from Jay Wynn here as Rick takes the pickle on the turn, doesn't get it through, and the board pairs on the river. Jay Wynn here,
No, no,
happy to just call here.
I was gonna donk out 200, but now I have more options. It's all good.
Think about it very seriously.
And Rick petting 20. There's 1/3 pot here on the end. And I mean, I think you just have like a very standard call. Yeah, he does.
Oh, fuck no. There you go.
So obviously your favorite word of the night is tickle. So I think every time you commentate, I think you need to like designate a tickle master of the night
Tickle master?
for the tickle of the pot. Not my word, not my choice.
You shall be Tickle Master. Well,
This is the perfect tiny bit bluff catcher.
I guess I mean Tickle Master tonight would be Rick.
Rick,
Rick
that is
has
correct.
been dubbed Tickle Master
For value.
for the evening, and he is he's living up to the title quite well.
40. I mean,
Meaningfully.
I do love those little small bets though. Like when used in the right
Yeah.
scenario, they can just be so frustrating for your opponents to deal with. And there's just nothing better than like
Kobe.
betting like $15 into a pot of 150 on the river and having your opponent just be like, what? Like they just like lean back in their chair and you instantly know that they're not going to raise you. You're like, okay, this is good. Like now I don't care if he like calls or folds or whatever. It's just-
Even if you lose, just the agony that you put somebody through, like,
yeah.
it's worth
99.88.
it.
I remember it was like a big pair or a medium or a big basketball number, but like a medium pair.
All right, there's the RFIs, and yeah, Doug,
I remember a lot of those.
21%. That is a pretty large number for him.
Never really had this time.
75.
All right, Jay Wynn will open lead 10. Hey, take it down. Easy peasy. Five-handed action here on TCH Live Thursday, 5:10.
On a heater, Jesse.
$25 straddle.
All right, let's open.
Winning all the
We got a
small ones,
50
losing all the
straddle
big
out.
ones.
Comes
Go.
out. Ooh, Rick, he's gonna be on the button. I don't know. Let's hope the cards match what we desire from this. Carnage finally.
Also busy at work? Man, you used to be a fucking heavy
We
grinder.
shall see.
yeah, I think he's had some like health issues, and
Okay,
I
yeah.
think he ran bad for a while, so I feel like over the last like 3 months.
Poker's
he
not.
hasn't played much.
Yeah. Like, all the fitness stuff I'm doing this month, I'm so grateful for it. 'Cause I didn't
Thought for a
realize
second Raul was going to do something there, and honestly, Ace-9
I
off,
was having hip issues.
while not the most inspiring of hands, five-handed is pretty good. Optimize will do the right thing and raise, and he'll win. So do you have a favorite restaurant that you've sort of discovered here in the Austin area?
I think like
Actually,
I
I'm
definitely
putting
think
together a
that,
5, 10, 25 game at
Ichigo
TCH on Sunday,
is great.
November
It's
6th.
amazing.
Fantastic.
You know, I've only sat at the sushi bar, and I will only
It'll air the
sit at the
Thursday.
sushi bar. It's
November
definitely I
November
love that
6th. He's going
that
back to China.
experience of talking to the sushi masters and that back and forth, and
I
food
asked
is
him
great.
who he wants to play, and he had
But-
a full list, which includes a lot of those guys.
expect to spend 150 to 200 per person.
Yes, it is an investment. Their happy hour is fantastic, and you can get out of there for a little bit less than that.
Whatever
But
Thursday they, you know.
portion sizes are a little bit smaller, but they have a lot of the same stuff, and
we all have to like dress up
their
like
happy hour price. So if you haven't been in there for that, you should definitely check it out.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready to
It
go
goes
that
for like
far.
an hour and a half.
But
It's like,
Okay.
it's
what
like
we can do is like
whatever,
quick poker,
5:30
like,
to 7 or
let's say
something
we'll
like
call
that
it
during the week. So it's
And
a
then
very narrow
afterwards,
window,
it'll be around
but
7 p.m.
it
but we
is
can do reservations, and whoever
a great
wants
way to
join,
get
we can do dinner,
Ichigo
drinks, and whatever comes after
on
that.
a
But,
little bit of a
you know,
budget.
as a
I
guy
do
who's
like that you
put a lot
can
of money into
go
the
ahead
game,
and set a reservation ahead of
try to
time
do
and just
something
kind of plan it out whenever you'd like to go. And usually you have to do at least a week out for whatever night you'd like to join, especially at the sushi bar. They don't have a lot of seats available,
Pop that chair.
but it is well worth it when you plan in advance and you get in there. I am definitely Asian food. That's my cuisine of choice. I do like the variety around here. A lot of good Vietnamese food, as well. Indian as well. Indian's great. My favorite food truck, actually, it's a Bombay street style food. Is actually not even half a mile down the road.
No kidding.
Yeah, on Anderson Mill, there's a great, I think probably the best food truck spot that I've seen in all the Texas regions we've been to. They've got the best overall. Hawaiian food. You've got chapati chaat, which is, again, the Bombay street food.
Okay.
You got Venezuelan, you got barbecue, Thai. It's great. They just actually opened a little Hawaiian snow cone too. You see these people walking around with massive snow cones, little blow up flamingo dolls around it.
Okay.
It's pretty funny.
I was like, either have
You don't
9, 8, or
get
8,
it for
7.
like
Can't
11,
remember
12
which.
bucks, but you get take home treat, and It's like a work of art.
Nice.
That's a good way, that's a good way to balance, you know, just don't remember your
Okay.
hand and then
There's
half
I
the time you're
think
right and half
Told
the
you,
time
when in
about
doubt,
10
just
food
bet.
trucks over there,
Can't be that.
at least. Yeah.
So like
Open
floppy,
7
that
days
guy
a
should
week.
be floppy
It's,
10% of the time,
That's
and
actually my
floppy
stop
90%
always
of
on
the
the way
time,
to
so it's
TC
like
Jocelyn. I'm always
Yeah.
over there. You can call into almost
Like
every
blast
restaurant and
away.
pick up food to go. Most of the food service over there is pretty fast, but I haven't found a bad food truck. Everyone over there is equally good.
Nice. All right. I will definitely
I'm not
check
floating
that
about
out.
what I have.
So do you like ramen?
Love ramen.
Okay. There are a couple of really good ramen places in Austin if you haven't had a chance to peruse those. One of my favorites is
I should probably be a man.
Eurasia. They've got a couple of different locations, so there's like Eurasia 1, 2, 3, whatever around town. And they do curry mozzarella ramen, which is freaking amazing.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely love that one. Optimize here, waking up with a couple of kings. He's going to raise this up, and Doug will 3-bet from the small
Hi there,
blind.
How's business?
Music to optimize his eyes, ears, and all of his other senses. So he will
Doug.
4-bet, and Doug will flick his cards
I didn't
off
know if
there.
that's what you threw.
Will wing him into
You have some side
optimizes.
projects and bars and stuff like that too, right? How do you like being in that part of the business? Like in that yeah.
Doug is such a funny guy.
Yeah, you know, Boots is like a pretty popular player. He, he took me out one night. to
Let's
one
see,
of
have
those
you been to
bars
any of
and
the
talked to me
ramen
about
places?
business.
Michi Ramen? Or,
I have not. I've kind of been
Fucking low-key.
ramen snobbing it up in Vegas, and
And you're just talking to me like,
Yeah.
if you have a good diligence
sticking.
process
I stick to
and figure out the
ramen
right
and Korean barbecues, and unless I
and, you
wanted to
collect the check
venture
every
and give a restaurant a try, I kind of stick to those. I save those for when I go to Vegas, just because it's so good that it makes that experience even more, so much better when I go back home.
okay.
That it just, oh, this is better than I remembered. It's like a double treat, you know,
Sure.
missing the food and having it over there. The hand-pulled noodles, I'm like, knife cut,
Yeah, the
I'm
whole
all for
emotion.
that.
Oh no.
I'm not too much a fan of the boiled pork belly that goes into the ramen. I like the ground spicy pork.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my jam.
Well, then you'd love the curry mozzarella ramen because it's the spicy ground pork.
There goes all my blood on.
And then you melt the mozzarella over the top with the just absolutely incredibly flavorful
So what is
broth.
your goal? Like,
Definitely
what,
check
is it
that
a hobby to you, or is it like a business that you're trying to learn?
Also, Michi Ramen. I used to live right next to the one. It's off of
For sure, yes.
North Lamar at like right near Koenig.
Got it.
And that place is
I want to get, and the reason why I ask is like,
especially
I
the
have
dipping ramen.
That's just part. I want to get into retail,
But
like, whether it's a bar or a drink place, like a coffee house, something like that.
I've been eating mostly low carb, so I don't do the ramen very often these days. But every once in a while, I get a super hankering for it.
Yeah.
And then of course my body is like, "What did you just do to us? This is a entire belly full of wheat noodles." But
Yeah.
man, does it taste good!
70.
All right, raised to 70 here from Doug, and a cascade of calls over to Jay Wynn, who is like,
For the love of the
"Yeah, I guess this is worthy of seeing a flop."
Yada yada yada.
Put something together.
Stand-up game at the other legend.
Players will see this
People play stand-up
Jack
games everywhere,
10.
but
And that is
standing
a
game's cool.
tough
We play-
spot
we
to be in if
play
you're
here
Rick.
too.
But a lovely spot for Doug. Jay
Nobody
actually
owns
does
it.
have up and down and backdoor clubs working, so he could potentially stick around.
If
For a
the sizing's small enough, and you get a flat from Rick.
Yeah, the trickiest part for Jaywin is that he could already just be dead, right? Like, and if a king comes, like, have you really improved your hand? Probably not. We can see that it actually would be the case, but you never really feel that way with a 9.
Right.
Rick is just going to call, not raise with his top and bottom pair. And yeah, that actually may just give Jaywin enough of a price to stick around. And it does feel pretty borderline.
The gin card for him would be an 8 of clubs here. Would be Jaywin's gin.
Jaywin does not get what he wants. Instead, he'll pair and have 4th pair on board. Nobody else is going to love this, though, as the 2 players sporting 2 pairs are like, cool. Any king, any 8. Not a lot of 8s of the world out there, but any king has certainly improved, and a king was unlikely to fold the flop, so those are very real holdings. Doug presumably will be checking. Doug.
Your Tickle Master, let's see if he puts a little filler tickle out there.
Tickle Master, let's go. Yeah, no, he's just gonna tickle the felt with that middle finger. If that had just been like a random 4, like so that everybody had 2 pair, that would have been pretty silly. Not that I expect J-Win would pay off very much, but he is going to turn his 9 into a bluff for a half pot size wager here. Let's see if Doug can make this call.
Wow.
3,000.
Not what I expected.
I really don't understand this play.
And I mean, 3,000, that's just.
Wow.
That is so risky.
Wow.
That just
Did he
happened.
show it? He must have.
Absolute.
That's it.
Absolute.
Turning top 2 into a bluff. So the one thing to be said for it, I suppose, is that you block king jack and king queen, but like it doesn't even really matter because
Yeah, when you check that turn.
any combination that has a king in it is going to be like, okay, I guess I just
That would have been a
call.
good
Like,
one.
what are
If
you
I
doing?
would have snapped them
Pushing
off
up the
and
top?
Yeah, I mean, with that, the only thing, if Rick has it,
Because I make
You're
it
not
show
gonna get a
first,
call.
right? Because that's the fun part of it.
Sure.
you know, and if J-Win did have a straggler,
Straddle.
you know, like you said, like a king, I mean, it's just a jam, and at that point, I mean, if you're Doug, if you're putting in 3,000 and you get jammed by J-Win, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Put
I
in
mean,
more than half your stack. I mean, it's
J-Win can't jam a king. No one's going to jam a king because, I mean, so the other thing that Doug has going for him is that he's the only player that can have ace king. So, in that respect, I would have loved to have seen him take a hand that was had less showdown value. Do that. Because then it's like, yeah, you're the only guy that can have ace king here. You were the pre-flop aggressor. Everybody else just called you. You could have just flopped the joint and are waiting for people to catch up, and then you're going to hammer him at the end. That all makes sense. That
Right.
storyline makes sense. But you got top 2. Like, you have a good bluff catcher.
Close.
And
Check.
to raise into a guy that's betting into 2 opponents, like, ugh, it's kind of dangerous. You're literally trying to get him to fold a king at this point. And is he going to do that? I don't know. So, anyways, a lot of different aspects to that one, but at the end of the day, Doug wins the hand. So, you know, what do we know? Raul flops top pair. J-Win turns a set, though. This is as monotone as possible. But J-Win will put out a bet there, 1/3, just to see if he can eke a little bit of value out and maybe maintain the betting lead, but instead Raul is going to raise. This doesn't make a ton of sense unless he has a big heart, ace or king, queen maybe of hearts. Starts to get a little bit scary by the time you get down to the queen of hearts as well. I suppose the other option is the 6 of hearts if Raul just somehow has this. Oh, never mind. Here we go. Straight flush on board. What the hell is this? Straight flush on the board.
yeah.
J-Win ripped it in. He's like, you literally can't have.
Could you imagine if Raul ends up with the 10 of hearts here? I mean, obviously he would have been
and then
snap called, but
slow rolls him. No, slow rolls.
oh, you
him
want a
like,
slow roll? Oh,
I'd do it for sure. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh,
Wow, Raul folds.
silly. That was silly.
Raul folds.
Optimize.
There's one card in the deck that.
You can just hear Optimize. He's like such a silly J-Win. I love watching Optimize get annoyed by stuff like that.
Really?
Kenneth James here in the chat says you may be missing that his reasoning of raising might be to bluff out an 8. That's possible. That is very possible.
You know, Jay's been gonna jam any 2 cards.
J-Win
God, I
betting
hope
a
you
half
snap me
pot
off.
on the end.
Snap raise me
Do that with me.
6x.
You're not wrong.
3 weeks ago.
I think I'm
playing
supposed to call there, but
PLO
And,
Bob,
but again, it still factors into the exact same framework that I was putting together, which is generally how the two-card game is structured, where you bluff with your worst hands and you call with your best, like, bluff catchers, quote-unquote bluff catchers, right?
Sounds really hard.
And
Isn't
so,
that
like,
bad?
if you're turning top 2 into a bluff,
No, yeah, I
what are
guess-
you
because
calling?
it's
Like, what are
not
your
bluff.
hero
I don't know how
calls?
to play that
Just
game.
one pair of hands? Like,
Is there a board?
okay, well, why are you bluffing your two pair of hands then? So then it's what, sets? Like, did you ever get to the spot with a set? And those are the only ones that you're going to hero call? I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. So you usually structure your hands, like the ones that you call and, you know, the ones that you raise a little bit differently than just like, oh, we just bluff with whatever because we think that we're trying to get an 8 to fold. Like, okay, but, you know, I just don't think that top 2 really factors into that or fits into that framework very well, even if that was the intent.
Yeah.
Again, you don't have to stick to that. You know, we can all be exploitative. We can all deviate and try to play differently. I mean, you may be in a spot like that and you're like, no, this is exactly what my opponent has. Like, I'm going to deviate and get them folded or whatever, and that's all fine and dandy too.
Oh, I see.
Anyways, here we are on the turn, and we've got a pot-sized bet from Rick.
He's got a 7 deuce for a
Yeah.
full house.
7, 8. Ooh, damn.
Takes it.
Nice hand.
Yeah.
Oh, and you got
2
the
pair on the top board.
I'm
so
so
pretty
happy.
good holding. With the diamond draw, my God, Rick
Yeah.
had it.
I'm like, how does Rick get to bet here all of a sudden? That's
Alice
I
Acuna
do,
dropping
but-
on in, saying
mean,
hi and dropping a
yeah,
like.
you don't
Thank
get
you so
excited
much.
looking at the results.
Good to
but
see you.
You can win 10 buy-ins. I'm like, whatever.
We are coming on into the home stretch here. Just about 15 minutes left in the broadcast.
Because
Taking
generally
another
your
peek
results
at
are really
this Thursday night football game as Lamar Jackson, Chris Godwin, the only players putting up points. Rashad
No,
Bateman,
it depends on how long.
Cade
Depends on how long.
Ott, still sitting
I'm talking
on
on average,
freaking
like whatever the hourly is
goodness.
multiplied by 4, like is that really going to be greater than 2 to 300? You know what I mean? Yeah. But
Okay,
I
well,
enjoy
me and
it
you are in the
because I don't
same
really
boat
think
then.
of it
They're
as
not putting up
dollars. I just
spectacular numbers either,
but it's different.
but they are the ones holding
Different
down the
rules,
fort.
different plays, different tendencies. So it's nice to try to mix it up. I'll play the win game and try not to complain about it.
All right, folds to Raul.
The $5 bomb pot game is like
Cut off,
something I really
raised up to 35, and optimize is trying to take the lady for a ride. He'll
Yeah, like you can buy him for 500 and have a ton
re-bet,
of fun.
but
And I don't think anywhere else consistently runs. Like here, there's actually a population.
relatively
Every day.
ambitious call if you're Raul. But yeah, you
Yeah, it's
just
just
kind
a
of let
really
this go.
good game.
Optimize going for a little bit
Trying to pay for
of a large 3-bet.
Yeah.
I mean, 35, usually take that to
Like
like
the risk is
105.
always
You
controlled.
know, just 3x on the money to go over that is incentivizing a fold, and you don't really want them to fold.
Fine. I mean, just
Yeah,
in
had it
general,
been like a, you said a 105.
like I want
definitely
to
would've
spend more time in PLO, but I've kind of
And James here, going back to that, says you're calling 8s and sets.
Meaning hold'em tournaments?
Yeah.
I hear you. Like your thought on him also leveraging his nut advantage base king. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, hero calling with 8s and sets is also perfectly reasonable. I mean, and maybe that's it. Maybe you don't you stop hero calling with queen jack, and then you start to think about your interaction with the king jack and the queen jacks of the world. I mean, it's all perfectly
It's just good.
reasonable. And again, everybody's going to structure these things a little bit differently too, based on what they think their opening ranges are and their continuing ranges.
Yeah, it's just a really. I mean, honestly,
End of the day.
it's a really big
But
deal.
it made it work.
That don't care losing $1,000 all the time.
And now optimize here.
Game players don't care.
Gonna tickle this pot for 10 bucks. Takes the Tickle Master for a ride, and unfortunately for Tickle Master, he is going to pick up top pair on the turn, and Optimize will tickle him for another 20. I
But
don't
I
think Rick
don't-
can fold now.
No, I don't. He's got a backdoor jack high flush draw. I don't see him going anywhere.
No, you're gonna lose again.
All right, so bet of 20 and a call, bet of 10 and a call on the flop, bet of 20 and a call on the turn. And he's gonna get sucked out on.
That's it. I'm tilted.
The 5 of hearts on the end, giving Rick
What did
the
he have?
backdoor
10 heart?
flush. And Optimize,
Oh,
who flopped
no,
Rick
you
just absolutely into the basement,
I see. Oh, okay.
is
So you're gonna absolutely.
gonna lose this hand.
As in, like,
Wow.
team selection?
But he only like lost, I guess you could say, like $30, given the fact that he flopped top trips and did not finish with the best hand. Oh my goodness, what a wild hand.
No, he just plays everything under the sun. You know?
We still have seats open, and I can
I think
almost
most people in
100%
Austin are
guarantee
pretty
that this
cool in
game
that
will
way. Like,
continue
we don't
after
take this
our stream ends in about 45 minutes. So
Or
come on
the
down
game
to
is
TCH Austin if
there,
you're
the game's
anywhere
there.
near the vicinity.
Yeah.
Like very few
This game
people,
will continue with these players.
Stakes is different. Like you want to play the game. that
Yeah, a
you're
lot of the time
financially
that is
comfortable with.
definitely true.
I like it in generally in Texas, really.
I know there's
Oh,
a
shit.
1-3 game running as well. At least there was. I presume it's still running over on table 1. So plenty of opportunities to get in on the action if you just want to play some 1-2, some 1-3, or hop in, try your hand at the 5-10.
Oh yeah, just generally in Texas, like people. Are
All right,
really
Jay
good.
here first
They
to
aren't obnoxious
raise.
about table selection. 'Cause that gets people
Yeah.
fucking
Rick the only
like, they sit
caller, and
down
here we
with
go,
you,
heads
you
up to a
wait little
flop,
bit,
all spades.
and then,
Rick,
Vegas.
the ace of spades.
check.
They like
And
that.
Jack, Jaywin here flopping top 2. Checky, checky. Jaywin gonna pot control this with the top 2 pair.
75.
5 race 3.
He's gonna go for his value now, so Rick leads the turn. Jaywin will raise to 300. And I like this play. He sets himself up for a natural river check from Rick. And if it's a scary card, he can just check back and take showdown. And if not, he can go for value. Rick here is going to make the call. Sees a useless 3 of clubs here on the end. And checks it over to Jaywin here, who has top 2. He'll bet 600 for very nearly 3/4 pot, a little bit over. And Rick now, whose hand functions better as a bluff than a bluff catcher, still may feel inclined to put on the.
Is this like earlier? Like it's either gonna be a really good call or a really bad fold.
So now Jaywin over here chatting. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes I have it.
a sign of someone who is ready
Don't
to
you
get
think
paid.
about raising a 3,000? I'm not in a folding mood.
This is where his yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Rick will not be talked into heroing this one off. And Jaywin will show the Jack a cheeky little way of being like, yeah, well, I guess you could have won
be
if
very
you
hard for you to
called,
have.
but
And a red jack, so you know, obviously. Now Rick is gonna come back and look at and realize he had the 2 pair. Wasn't just getting bluffed by like a king jack.
Oh,
or
I didn't.
Jaywin. Or the same hand.
I didn't know.
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I didn't see
Which
that.
would be, yeah, maybe a little bit curious to bluff with, but yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? You see him turn over the Jack, you're like, wait, what? Why are you betting that? Well, because they were the queen with it. So, and that's oftentimes you can kind of get a feel for why or how someone turns over a card or which one they show you or whatever, like whether or not you're good. And if Rick reads into that one right, he should be like, wait a minute,
What just happened?
you're not
Was there a
betting the
raise?
Jack, you're not
or-
bluffing the Jack. Like you had something to go with
So everybody
that.
limp. Okay, my bad.
And it
I
was-
just saw so many shits.
Ugly.
3 players.
All right, here we go. 3 players to a flop. Everyone working with the bottom of the deck. All flop.
We're like unison swimmers.
Five of clubs here now, giving Jaywin a gutty, optimized by pair and a gutty, and Rick with prayer.
Give you a little play, a little action. Let's get my 35 back from earlier. Little play.
Tickle Master may not be in the pot, but that is the name of the game here. Bet
Good.
and a call 35.
Check.
And Rick will finish with nut low.
Where did you get barbecue from earlier?
No, Tickle Master was in the pot. What was I thinking? He was the one that bet 35. Of course.
35. Okay.
Yeah, like every once in a
What'd
while.
you guys win?
What would you say is your favorite card?
Oh, hell yeah.
He bets
Rudy's
80
like
here. I have
super good
pot.
at
Like,
possibly barbecue.
what is this?
Is it the 9?
It
I
looks
hate
like
calling it
value,
like
and
that.
Optimize is gonna fold.
Yeah, he's
barbecue's hard
he's
to
gonna
make.
tickle it just right.
That's what
Yeah.
he said.
Shifting.
Yeah, it's not like the highest like quality. It's still like
That's
Very
amazing.
light call.
Well played, Rick. Once again,
favorite.
Tickle Master
Barbecue.
conquers all.
I don't want to call it favorite barbecue without a weight. But if I think about like barbecue without a weight, just want to go there and eat, like.
No, the 5 there.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess you didn't have one of those.
You don't want to always wait.
Look at the 5 over here.
Who's the button roll?
All right, cruising right along here.
Yeah, right.
5, 10, and 25.
For me, that was my
Nope,
chance to
25
back
not on.
trips.
Rick here is going to be first to act.
Maybe didn't get cooler by your
No, it is on.
walk
Okay,
straight.
good lord. Rick will limp the king jack off.
Just like when the phone is free,
Too
and it's
soon to
like
come to love.
because like
That's my.
Why not? You know, I
It's
mean,
really bad. So when you work for like
ooh,
check. This is like when you
couple
work
pairs
for
here. Rick with the best one.
just companies with like the free weekly or daily dinings. It's like you just overeat all the time. Actually,
Checks through. And now Rick will go for a little bit of value. Healthy tickle this time. This is one of those ones that really digs into the ribs. Jaywin will oblige though, and he finds himself here on the river with 8s and trays with the king kicking. And Rick is still betting 75.
Yeah,
Nickeling
it
and
makes sense for
diming
Jay.
into
If he's
them.
gonna call a turn, he's definitely gonna call the river. Not putting Rick necessarily on a king.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah.
hand that he really loses to.
I didn't have it.
You know, some sort of flop flush that just, no sort of waits to pounce and bets small so they get called by an 8. Like, I don't know. There's just not very much that beats you. So, yeah, definitely think if you make it to the river there, you need to call an 8. Jay
I'm
would
just
agree.
surprised with Rick in position. I mean, I guess his intention was to get 2 streets of value when he checks the flop in position on that hand, and it worked. He got exactly what he set out to do.
Indeed.
Tickle Jay win 2 streets.
I just have this image of like someone just like tickling Jaywin and like chips falling out of his pockets as he just like giggles. Rick has the same hand, King Jack. He will limp into Raul's straddle and Raul will punish him
I know.
with a raise, but
I
you
only
don't
saw that
let a
one
hand like
big
King
hand.
Jack
I didn't see it till
So
He
he
in
will
total he won.
call.
What was it, like 150?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that highlight when I woke up, and then I went to the stream and I like fast forwarded the last like 25%.
Quite the
Both-
flop here.
Yeah, they both have keys. Roll backdoor that spades.
That
Rick
one,
obviously
that,
with
that
the top
ultra
pair
big
open
pot,
ended.
yeah, Wesley, that was like, you're fucking baiting everything.
Yeah.
Because didn't the guy turn the combo draw too
Yeah,
after that? Oh
yeah.
my god.
Rick here needs to take another peek before he continues, but for a half pot size bet, he is going to come in for
A lot of fucking money.
just a call.
90K effective.
Especially if you're like you're not running so hot in cash.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, fuck. I feel like I want to get wiped out for 90K.
I actually don't see Raul slowing down.
I guess it's like pretty fucking loose and wild these days. Like, it's never
I think
like.
he has to.
Yes.
It's similar to what we had before, where with the second card pairs, it's just really sort of favors the out of position player. So even if he has a king there, like ace king is going to be like, "Ugh, I think I just checked this back.
Ball game. I'm trying to get
Another
on, but
queen. So here we go, full house versus full house. Rick here with the best hand. He will go for
I'm probably indifferent
a
about
little bit of value. 280. 3/4 pot, and yeah, if you're Raul, it's like, okay, I lose to a king, I lose to a queen, but he's not going to fold, and it does pay.
Melodies that have a social presence.
Pretty standard there, I think.
They bring
I'm in like this weird in between zone though.
if Rick ever was in there with just like a jack, or I mean, even just like Jack 9 or Queen or Ace Jack that was just already there, and then like, ew, I guess. Do I still bet this? Like just for
Like,
some
if I was a
reason?
game runner, I'm probably like,
I
I'm
guess
not the first
that's
person they
fairly unlikely. But
Yeah, even though I feel like I'm a whole lot more
Pay it
happy
off
than the other
nonetheless.
people. True, it doesn't matter. They don't know that. But whatever.
I feel like a lot of like
Optimized here, the least aggressive. No, sorry, Jay Win,
he was there and like
the least aggressive of the players here this evening. Interesting dynamic.
I know he's been having a long few days of playing poker, so he could be a little tired. And normally he is actually on the higher end, having the most pressure out of these players.
Yeah, he's certainly been playing his fair share of pots, but he has taken some of these opportunities to just like check back and pot control in places where I normally wouldn't expect him to. So yeah, has been playing just a little bit slower than at other times.
Wow! I'm glad I didn't try anything stupid. Man, I was thinking about that.
I think everybody's recognizing that Rick is Tickle Master and is just destroying pretty much every other hand,
Yep,
taking it down.
My hand was so
running
sore,
hot here
really
tonight.
bad. I couldn't even.
We look at the earnings there, up almost 2K, Optimize up 1K. Jay Win stuck the most.
Actually, yeah, him and Raul are pretty much the same. Raul's about 1,900 to 2,000 as well. His first blind he lost was 15, so they're about even for losses.
Right, you are. Doug here, waking up with 10.
Crack my back.
Touchdown, Lamar Jackson. Let's go. Still not a point in sight for these other guys.
That 80 from Doug is just going to take it down.
And then his cards rain down from the sky.
Yeah.
When Doug is like tilty and he folds his hand, sometimes he'll just like try to do that, like, you know, helicopter or whatever, and it's like, yeah, those cards are not going to stay on the table.
Rebate. Aw.
Both exposed, one flying off, yeah.
It's the first time the button's ever proactively wanted to push it past.
Doug
All right.
definitely wears his frustration on his shiny bald head. Not on his sleeve, his shiny bald head.
Sure does.
It's like a crystal ball. I kind of like read his future. You know, I walk over and I look in. And, or it's like a magic 8 ball I shake it and like, yep, that's a tilty Doug.
Tilty Doug. Well, Doug could be a tilty Doug after this one, depending on how it plays out. Rick, though, feeling pretty good about his situation right now. Couple of aces raising this up, and about to get 3-bet from the small blind. Optimize here with a hand that you normally feel pretty good about squeezing with. He is not going to love what happens next. Doug over there, is that Korean barbecue?
Oh my god, that's amazing. Nice. Is there more of that?
That's fun.
No.
All right, Rick here lining up a 4-bet. And yeah, Optimize is now going to probably do an internal eye roll and fold.
Rick, show a bluff one time.
And I had an
You had a real
Show a
hand.
bluff one time. Can't do it. I've got
Real
number
hands around
1.
here. Just kidding, listen.
When I have an ace, he's not supposed to have aces. That didn't work.
What did he say?
He said if I have an ace, he's not supposed to have aces.
True, that's how it works.
5-handed too? Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
that is true.
But
Yeah,
then he
this
just tells me
deck
what
is
he has
broken.
and I jam anyway.
Yeah.
So Rick here continues his heater, moves up over 5K.
Would you 4-bet kings? Would you 4-bet kings?
That's a smooth call. You don't want to. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, Rick hasn't been actually putting on any straddles. I'm surprised with as well as he's doing and running like he is tonight.
Yeah, there's always those players that feel just like, no, I'm already going to pay the blinds. Like, I don't need to put
Do you
more
think-
money out there.
Yeah.
And that's fine, right? Like they're not mandatory.
Of course.
Sometimes they are, other times they're not. But yeah, I think everybody just has their own style. I've certainly played with plenty of people that are just, you know, it doesn't matter. Everybody at the table puts on the straddle, it gets to them, and they say, nope, not doing it. And that's their right.
Just gonna tell you now.
Doug goes to work on his Korean barbecue and orange Gatorade. Rick will call the tickle on the flop from Optimize, who picks up a gut shot to the 6-high straight. Also has the 4 of spades, and here comes
Here's this 20.
the additional tickle on the turn, and that will take it down. This dynamic between Optimize and Tickle Master, where they just put single chips out in a line, is pretty silly, but I like it.
I had a straight, right?
It's like a string bet, but it's still one motion, so it works. Once it gets out to like 8 chips, though, it's just a little obnoxious.
As long as I can win.
It's the dealer when you're sitting there trying. How many chips is that? Let me count it again.
Yeah.
Someone just texted me. What the hell am I watching?
Oh, Jedi Master Ted rolling a 50 is the worst number to roll. Just if you roll a 1, you're just like, okay, I got that out of my system. But a 50, come on, it doesn't feel like you should lose when you roll a 50. You ever hang out in the chat and participate in the Streamlabs gamble?
I have not yet, but definitely should jump in there next live stream. I definitely watch, just not usually a commentator, participant in the chat.
Okay, gotcha. All right, top pair here for J-Win once again. He checks back. These spots, these opportunities for pot control and to sort of trap his opponents into betting inferior hands. Raul does take the bait, bets the turn, gets called, and now it's a one-liner to a straight out here. See if Raul checks or a bet. Checky, wow. And J-Win will show down the winner here. Some curious hands being played here. I mean, there's certainly one thing to be said for not always sticking to the same script, right? Like if the standard play is to bet, sometimes mixing a check. If the standard play is to check, like sometimes mixing a bet or whatever.
Like Raul's style, normally with that, I mean, that's why I was very surprised, because normally with his style of play and how he likes to continue, like it's 4-card straight, I definitely would have seen his standard is to barrel again on the river. And then actually J-Win folding there is very acceptable because, again, you got a player who's betting into you twice in a third street with 4-card straight. If I was J-Win, I'd fold.
Yeah, depending on sizing, for sure, you could be put in a pretty tough spot. A tickle isn't going to get through, but yeah, full pot or overbet for sure could do some damage to your psyche in that spot. J-Win here facing a 3-bet. Doug here going for the 3x on the button. J-Win will defend, and let's see if he can improve 9-8 to a winner. Not yet. Doug, not an inspiring flop for him. He has the queen of spades, so he has some opportunities in the backdoor department. Yeah, I like the check back here. If you bet and get raised, you're going to have to let go of a little bit too much equity. So checking back ensures that won't happen, at least not until the turn comes in. And now that J-Win picks up a club flush draw here and has just 9 high, I suspect he'll start betting now. But he doesn't. I keep getting these things wrong when it comes to J-Win's decision process. Doug here, yeah, happy to just checking. His hand is going to be good at showdown a lot of the time. And J-Win does get to see all the cards, but does not improve and finishes with just 9 high here. Let's see, does he think he can get ace high to fold with a bet of like 300? Or does he go for big chunky? Let's go for the value sizing. 3 1/4. And yeah, Doug doesn't love it, but doesn't also seem like he's even really contemplating a call. Yeah, he was going to let that one go pretty easy, I think, from the beginning.
I'll learn not to look at the hands anymore.
Jwin didn't need to start betting on the turn. He just
Trying to get my
down
trying to get last minute read.
one well-timed wager at the end.
Thought he was gonna do that thing, maybe,
I just don't look.
and then you know.
Right, like, oh, that's a good reverse tell. I should have done
Now that would have been badass. If you'd have done that,
reverse tell, make him raise.
that would have been so next level badass. I would have bowed down.
Oh, I'm the 20.
All right, so 4th quarter here between the Ravens and the Buccaneers. 17-10. Kevin was at the table earlier talking about putting a wager on taking the over. Over
Hey,
under
who are
was
you
at
with?
46
What
and a
did
half.
you do
He
with
took the over. There's 27 points scored in the game, so looks like he's going to miss that one.
We had a straddle from Jwin, a raise by Doug.
All right, Doug, you want to do it or me?
And Optimize squeezes the 5s. Let's go.
How do you feel about the 200?
It's a small size that doesn't really seem like the appropriate size for a
Not-
squeeze.
Yeah, I mean, because you're raising that. I mean, in my mind, I'm not raising that size to get people to fold. I want to see a flop.
Yeah, which is
With
kind
that
of
sizing,
weird
that's the
because you
intention,
don't
yeah.
really want to incentivize that.
Right,
multi-way.
not with 5s, for sure, unless you're trying to represent a, much nuttier hand than 5s.
Checky on the flop here. Raul
Just
turns
with the
top
bow.
boat. That is not a deuce of spades. That is, in fact, a jack of diamonds. There we have it. In checky, and good lord help Optimize if a 5 comes on the end. It does not. Let's see if Raul just checks once again, giving his opponent an opportunity. But it's really hard in this spot when it goes check twice. You feel like, yeah, they're just never going to check here.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, they're just never going to bet here. They're always going to check behind. So let's just bet and see if they somehow rivered something. How you get paid? It's a big size, though. He goes for full pot, which is kind of funky. Because, like, if your opponent rivers a flush, like, they would have bet anyway, so you could check raise them.
Right.
And they haven't bet yet, so that feels a little bit out of the ordinary. You
And if
interact with the board in every other possible way.
And if you're trying to get just like, King Jack, Ace Jack to pay you off, you're not going to accomplish that with a pot size bet.
Anyways, Raul goes for it and does ship the pot. That does not get paid any additional dollar reduce. So one thing that Carolyn and I always do, which you may be familiar with, is we always do a little gamble wager. Since you don't have your little account with your TCH Live loyalty points, we could just do a fun little thing. You feeling a little degen?
I don't think that
degen.
You want to put 20 on a roll, and so I can just roll, and if I get like 51 or higher, then I'll win. And if it goes 50 or lower, then you win. Want to put 20 on it?
I'm always high on it, but I'll go low ball. Okay.
Oh, would you rather have the other side?
Yeah.
Wait, so you want it
If you roll over 51, then I win.
Okay.
If you roll under, then you win.
Okay, well that way I'll lose points but win money.
Yeah.
Or win money or lose points. Okay, I'm fine with that. All right, let's see what we get. All right, I got the low ball side. All right, let's go.
All right. It's at least a straddle money for you. Oh no, that's like a date night Taco Bell for you, right?
Date night? I'm not going on
20
date night
bucks?
Taco Bell. Ooh,
No lucky lady.
Ship it. No, I'm a little classier than that.
Okay.
All right, I rolled a 16, so you owe me 20 bucks.
I owe you 20.
There we go. Taco Bell. SS for sure, but I did get 20 bucks out of it, so thank you for the condolences there, Raina.
I have no Samsung products. Zero.
I mean, I feel like there was a point in my life where date night at Taco Bell wouldn't have been completely out of the question, but I feel like I moved past that in high school pretty quick.
just take yourself on date nights and talk about
You got
solo
him right.
date
I
night.
do. Hell yeah.
80.
Got it.
Stream nights are date night for me. Solo date night to talk about. That's my reward for sitting in this broom closet for 4 hours talking about poker.
Look at Rick picking up another
And-
big hand again. And he's got 2 callers coming along.
Take it back.
Doug very animatedly throwing his chips into the middle. And would you look at that one? Top 2 for Optimize. Couple of backdoor opportunities for his opponents, but not an inspiring flop.
I do see Rick continue here over his backdoor nut flush draw. And he will. It's out 80. Optimize here with the raise, which I like, especially with a 3-card straight.
Ah, lovely. Rashad Bateman only played sparingly in the first half and then was removed from the game, so that's why he has a goose egg, and that will not improve the board.
I think Optimize just gonna, just takes it down.
Wow. You got back doors too. Feel right, buddy. Get that one. Feel right.
Yeah, Rick up over 2K. Has lost a little bit of steam out of that last hand, down under 5K in the stack.
Maybe I should.
And number 100 coming at you as we've got just 20 minutes or so left in the broadcast. Guess we did get started a little bit late, so I'm not sure if we're going to go a little bit past the top of the hour or not. We'll see. Okay, no, it looks like we are still going to close things down at top of the hour. Jay Wynn here, 8-4 suited, limping the button. When your opponents are showing a tendency to sort of limp and check and such, you know, I mean, you can get in there with these sorts of hands on the button and just sort of see what happens. So Jay Wynn will exercise that right. Rick flopping second pair and the best hand. Checks through. Return. Rick now with a gutty to go with his pair. He'll bet and take it down.
Yeah, I mean, even though these hands are gonna, obviously, all hands are shown live stream, but I do see Rick actually showing almost every hand that he wins. He's showing one or both cards, even folds.
I do feel like a better person.
So some players do that. Some players think it either helps them with their game. I personally don't like to show anything.
Yeah, I'm much more in that vein too. I don't show pretty much ever, but I would say that the players that are most likely to do that are the ones that are just there to have fun. And it's like, oh yeah, look what I had.
Yeah.
Like, it's more fun and exciting to interact with their fellow table mates about like what happened, rather than be like, oh, I won the money and that's what I care about.
Yes, sir.
Right.
You know? But everybody's got a different perspective. You know, certainly, you're going to have a different perspective on showing your cards, giving away information if you are, you know, playing this game for a living, or if you are here to have a good time. So, makes sense. Optimized with a flourish of the chips will 3-bet, squeeze to 200.
Welcome to the live stream, Mr. Coleman. Thank you. That's right. Anybody who hasn't smashed that like button, go ahead and help us out here.
Jay Wynn will cold call the 200. I guess he was in the $50 straddle, so he's going to defend his little babies, but not an inspiring flop. Optimize will got a little c-bet here, 1/3 pot, which he will do with almost his entire range. Jaywin with the double backdoor, not going to continue. King high, not going to be good that often. On occasion it will, but yeah, not going to hold down the fort with that one for very long. So usually best to just let go of it on the flop.
I mean, yeah, you're calling a hand like that. You're hoping either smash into flush draw or king high and then backdooring something. That's
Like
definitively
what
what your
makes you
aim is.
We're just hoping that your opponent shuts down on the turn, goes check check, and then you can
Turn into it.
start betting on the river if they check again.
Eagle.
So, yeah, there are some ways to win that hand that don't involve just making the best hand, but you know, you always have that opportunity when you play in position, which is the power of position. But yeah, you usually like to have something to go with it. Double backdoor, disconnected kind of situation is pretty tricky. Go through that pot.
It's a lot of factors, I guess. Like,
You know.
when Jake
Or I guess it was just single raise pot actually, because it was limp
together and like,
to
Yeah.
optimize. But still, with the double straddle on, it was things were getting pretty chunky.
didn't want to have kids.
It was funny, the oxymoron. Is good.
This is an iPhone.
Side by side.
Doesn't have any cats.
So, you're not looking for those 6th Street boppers anymore?
I never was.
Small one.
He's on 36 and shit.
Yeah, I live on
Every time you go to West, he's like, ah man, dirty baby.
I live on Rainy Street.
Yeah, he won't even go to West 6th. He's got to go to Dirty.
All right, suited Jack 9 here for Rick. That's going to be worthy of at least a limp, perhaps an open.
2 raise 80. 3 4.
Optimize another premium holding. Another big squeeze coming in.
5 fold, 7 fold.
So what if
4x from the small blind.
Your range be?
Pretty standard.
Started at like
And let's see if Rick defends this. I presume he's just going to fold, but I think he should call.
I'd have to
45?
I mean, I don't know. I'd say probably like 38.
38, so
All right.
you have to be younger than you?
Yeah.
Rick putting on the badge.
You need him fresh and young.
Tickle sheriff.
Tickle Sheriff
Victoria,
engaged. Queen high board. Couple of hearts, 1 diamond. Not what either player had in mind.
Blake is a
Just
secret
Optimize does what he has done in the past and continues for somewhere around 1/3 pot. He may just get this one through.
Well, that's 275.
Does indeed bet 275 here. Rick in a even worse predicament than Jaywin was in the last one, where he doesn't even have significant high card value, so he'll let it go.
Oh, are they reading the cards into your head to fold?
Yeah, get money after that.
Let's see. So tell me again, what part of California did you say you were from?
The Central Coast, San Luis Obispo.
Coast. Okay. All right. Yeah. I spent a couple of summers in Berkeley, which was beautiful. And then we were doing work over in Livermore. So we'd drive up over the hills into Livermore, which is just a desert wasteland. It's so ridiculous how like 20 miles can separate this like oasis where the temperature is like perpetually at 75 to 80 degrees.
Right.
And then just 15 miles to the east, it's 105.
And it's
just-
dry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dry
versus
and
what?
awful.
Yeah, Berkeley weather, you're gonna have definitely a little bit more humidity in the air, and then go anywhere near the Central Valley, it's just dry and humid like a desert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, California's just built like that. In my same area, Central Coast, you've got wine country, Paso Robles area. It's north, even though it's like maybe 15 to 17 miles from the ocean, but it's like Vegas. We've got, you know, average summers like 110, 115. At night, it barely drops to 75, 80.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Vegas weather. I'm a dry heat kind of girl. This humidity here in Texas kicks my butt.
Yeah, I feel you in that department. All right, Rick is out of the way. Sorry, no, he's not. He's tickling this pot for 85. And Doug is calling. Rick in here with the Woody does turn a gut shot. Doug has a gut shot as well, a superior one. With the top pair. And after check calling the flop, he's going to donk lead now for 200.
10K bet for the 1-2.
Or 175.
What's that?
Yeah, I'd do it again if I had enough action. I have to get enough action. I didn't get enough last time.
And Rick here hasn't snap folded this. Does he have devious intentions, perhaps?
Fun to enact, you know?
Looking at that stack. Oh, no, he's going to let it go. He's going to let it go. I thought for a minute he was just going to, like, pop it to
Just
550.
Actually, with 200 out there, I don't even know if 550 would do. 650 probably, actually. Maybe a better amount if you're going to do anything with it.
Well, the thing here, I think, is, like, if a raise is going to get through, the size is sort of irrelevant. Because, like, this is a very connected board. Like, your opponent is either going to be like, okay, if I put this in, then I'm going to have to face this nasty river.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm folding, I'm folding now. Most of the time. I don't know, but you never know. I guess a two-pair type hand could definitely just really...
Stay along. I mean, if, yeah, yours.
But I don't know that a bigger
invested
bet
now.
would work against two-pair either. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily.
Either way, 4-2s there is pretty scrubby looking. Doesn't decide to pull the trigger. Jaywin, who has played far more speculative hands than 7-6 offsuit, is going to let that one go.
Should do that with like a really good hand.
Doug will raise the small blind and Rick will defend. So heads up between these two players.
Alright, I'm thinking about all these like reverse tells that I can use going for.
Both have a piece. We got a gutter and a pair.
We need to do that one. We talked about with the J fold.
Like,
We'll go 3/4 with his gut shot and overcard.
Like the Eric Person call. Did you see that?
The who?
The Eric Person call.
Yeah.
versus Garrett.
Oh, yeah,
Calls
yeah,
to the
yeah.
9 of hearts on the turn, changing nothing.
Now I'm.
What are you doing, man?
In a little bit of an awkward spot for Doug.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just going to slow it down with a check. It's like if he has like pocket aces or kings or something, like, do you love this? Do you just blast it for 150 plus or something? Or do you slow it down with a check? And kind of tough to mix in your bluffs there when you're just like, I guess most of the time I probably just check and give up here. So this seems like one of those times. And Rick will get to turn over the 5 on the end. Take it down. Doug mucks his cards into the ceiling.
Honey.
The helicopter dead.
Disrespectful.
That's right, Rick. You shoved that 5-2 in his
That's
face.
a one order finish.
Rubbing it into Doug.
Hey, I can make more straights with 4-2.
Jaywin there had folded the 7-6 offsuit. Who would have flopped open ended and turned to the nuts. He will be first to act. 4-3 suited.
Well, limp. I'm surprised.
Yeah, the limp is coming out strong here tonight from these players.
Rick.
Oh my God, Rick has the 5-2.
Back-to-back 5-2.
It's only half of the 5 deuce that he just had, but he's going to try to put it to work. Optimize will not allow them to do so for a cheap price.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if you're gonna limp 4-3 suited and then somebody 3-bets, you're gonna come along if you limp that.
Okay, all right, Jaywin.
And now he's positioned, you know. So I guess it worked out.
This doesn't look good for him though, as he is
No.
going to flop 3 to a straight and a bottom pair. Optimize with the top pair, and Optimize will not get tricky trappy with his top pair. Queen kicker, he will just bet half pot. And yeah, if you're Jaywin, you'd really love for there to be a club out there, king of clubs maybe, to continue and feel like you actually have something to work towards, but I still don't think you can fold here. And this is the danger of limping and calling with 4 high, is that you make shitty pairs and sometimes just kind of have to continue anyways. This being one of those times. 9 of hearts, not a very consequential card. Shouldn't expect that to improve Optimize if he continues betting. But Optimize slows down, so Jaywin will get to check back and take a free river if he would like. Which I think is the prudent
The
way
smartest
to
play to play, yeah.
continue.
Pick up trips or that 2 pair.
Does indeed check back, takes the free river, it's an ace. And this probably just goes check check at this point. Imagine Optimize putting in a tickle block as well, but yeah. Checky incoming, Optimize. Wait.
Oh, stronger than I thought you were.
So hand number 106 is on the book. Hand number 107 incoming. How many hands do we have? 111 will be the final hand of the evening. So enjoy these next 3 hands of 2 card, and then I presume we'll finish with a bomb pot as we usually do. Looking again there at the aggression frequencies. Everybody hovering around 50%. Jaywin clearly holding down the lower end of that distribution. And waking up with queens here in the straddle. Watch him get a walk. He does.
Yeah,
he gets
a
a walk.
Not even suited.
Are you when games close out? Do you like the racehorses at the end, or do you like to just kind of, all right, I had a good game, have a good night? Do you like to not degen at the end?
Hell.
No, I'm always open for a good degen at the end, but it depends on how big people want to go.
Yeah.
Like, I've had people be like, oh, well, let's put in like 300 or whatever, and in like a 2-5 game, that's kind of steep.
Right.
But I'll do 100 for sure.
It was good while it
It's
lasted.
Like you can spin 100 into 5 or 6 or however many players are gonna go ahead and put in, just for fun. That's what's wrong with that.
I feel like I like the players here at TCH Austin. I mean, I like the ones who have typically lost the most will want to put in. Either they're gonna go big or go
Yeah,
lose it
no,
even
you
more.
can just like get
Yeah.
unstuck or like
Yeah.
dig yourself out of a pretty deep hole with 1 spin. That's not a bad idea.
5 check.
Wow, look at that flop for Dude.
7 bet 50.
Kicked up his feet. He fixed the hand he's got. He's ready to ease on into some value town. But nobody else is connected. So.
I mean, Rick has 2 overs and a gut shot. He had a rationale for considering continue, but he does not.
Yeah,
And
he has a
will
bunch
win.
of videos.
I folded 2 pair. Nothing dug off.
What did he say?
Player said he folded 2 pair.
Yeah, so I... Is it what?
Is live stream gonna be in your next one?
That was a
So
wise
I
decision.
started something. So I started a challenge. It's called 100K 100 days, and for the next 100 days, starting 2
Diddy
days
is on.
ago,
Raul.
the goal is to
Perhaps
hit
trying to
100K.
get a little unstuck here.
And I'm
The
documenting
last
the whole
couple of
thing.
hands.
Yeah.
He didn't hear what Jalen said. He said he's doing some type of prop bet where over 100 days he's trying to win 100K.
Exactly. Get it all in one
He's
time.
just talking about right now.
Really? 100 days, 100K? Damn.
Yeah,
Good
like
luck,
we
Jalen.
start. Like I have 2 vlogs coming out that'll essentially end like 1 decent win and then 1 big loss, and that'll essentially kick into like what's happening this week. Which by then it'll probably be like 2 or 3 weeks later. Essentially, it's just gonna talk about like how each of my.
All right, Raul,
It's
that's
pretty much just gonna
200 there.
document like what does that look like.
After Rick limps and takes it down.
Let's see. Probably a little ambitious. But
Do you play like a tournament and
You ever do prop bets of any
has to be
kind?
live cash. A live cash only.
No, I don't. I keep my degen on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much me too.
We'll see how it goes.
I'll do like some side sports betting or something like that if somebody really wants to, whatever, something like that if it's fun. But and of course, fantasy football
If Jay
leagues
makes it
are
100, I'll do it.
sort of fun betting.
Still have one of them?
Yeah, certainly never anything like what Jaywin is talking about, trying to win a certain amount or whatever.
And then we're doing a bomb pot to close.
5,
I just like to keep it on the table because I like to, whatever encourages the game
As long as
to
we got
up,
4, I'll keep it.
I'm down for anything. I'll always,
You gotta make 100K, man. I'd go
if I feel the game can improve in some way, I'll try to throw in whatever I can to get juices flowing on the table. That's what I save my DJ money.
Oh! Incoming 3-bet.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Big pocket pair.
How big?
So Jaywin gets another walk on the $100 straddle, so he just like picked up $90 for free. That's always nice. And here we go, hand number 111. This is going to be the final hand of the evening. $25 PLO double board bomb pot coming at you to close things out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for hanging out with us tonight.
Thanks to Aaron also for having me and
Yeah,
bringing me along this ride.
Absolutely.
It's been fun.
Happy to have you. Had a great time.
All right, Jesse.
We'll have to do it again.
I'm stuck in an electricity bill. Let me win this one and I'll be happy.
Definitely be joining in those point rolls.
Yeah,
See
you got to
what
build
that's
a
all
point,
about? I
a
do.
point bankroll so that we can do the usual, where you roll, I roll, and then whoever comes up with the higher one gets the $20. All right, couple of flops coming out here. Jack 6 tray 2-tone. Ace 8 7 also 2-tone.
So far we see Rick has a set. Top pair on both boards for optimize.
Yep.
Jaywin here betting his
2 pair.
bottom 2 on bottom board with the King of Hearts, Naked King Hearts. I don't know, not a very inspiring hand. I'm not a huge fan of that. Full house now for Rick on top. And Jaywin going to slow down here, I presume. Does have the 8 of spades. Not a
Betting
great
pot,
card to go blocking flushes on top with. And the board is paired. I don't know, just gonna try to bulldoze Rick here, I guess.
But I can see, I mean, I'm just actually, if I was Rick though, and I have nothing on bottom board, I can actually see a fold here from Rick. Not having the best full house, and having absolutely nothing on bottom board. And not feeling good about those 6s either. I mean, if Jaywin pots it here, he's gonna get it through and take it down.
Yeah, I mean, this has just gotten really weird, though. Like, Jaywin is just sort of bombing into this, and yeah, at some point you have to feel like, I don't know if I can get him to fold anything at this point. We are going to have 6s full of trays still win the top. And Jaywin is sort of looking at his hand like, oh, yeah,
still
I
good?
got the 2 pair down there. That's still good. So chop it up here between Rick and Jaywin on the final momentous hand of the evening. So with that, we're going to scroll through the statistics there. You can see the players first to raise, percentages, and the rest of the stuff for you. V-pips there. Raul bringing in the rear after his hand history did get set after his initial felting.
For 1 more hour.
Yeah.
So the leader there, Rick, V-pipping the most at 52% over 110 hands. Wow.
Well,
Go, let's go, Rick.
5 more
And
bomb pots
settling
and we
in actually as number
No,
2
serious,
in
that's
the
how we
overall standings.
Oh, that makes sense. 5 more hold'em
1.65K
hands and then we call it.
to take the pole position there. Jaywin stuck the most down 2K. Raul roughly in the same ballpark as well. We have those numbers all updated for you. Anyways, that is going to do it. So for myself, Aaron McAvoy, for Ashley, for Padawan producer Kristen, and the rest of the TCH crew, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Adios.
It's like a minute. Okay.